don't care. I don't care. I have no sympathy. Don't care. I don't care. I just don't care. I'm sorry. Well, hello. We're back. For everybody that's joining us from over on the First Mint live stream, we're live from the Plungeon. I am your host, the Plunge Father. Down there, we've got our man Taylor Stein from Minted Moment. And over there, we've got Jacob Eisenberg, the community lead for NBA Top Shot. How's everybody doing tonight?
What's going on, guys?
Doing well.
Happy playoffs.
Happy playoffs it is. I was telling my friends earlier today, I until Top Shot, I was not a huge basketball fan. I could probably count on two hands the number of professional basketball games I'd watched in my entire life, like up to that point, tip to tip. And I think I watched like two last night, and I've probably watched, way more just paying attention to some of this stuff. Less about, hey, how is this going to affect Top Shot stuff? But just, I'm actually interested in the players that I've been collecting now. And I got to tell you, I hate Rudy Gobert.
Really?
I do.
Why,
I don't know
what
why.
do you hate about him?
Maybe I don't know if it's the whining. He's so big and he's so good, but he's a great defender, but he seems so one-dimensional. And maybe I'm just not a nuanced fan of basketball, but just the big guy that stands in the middle of the court and just blocks everything that comes his way, which is a super valuable skill set to have. But I don't know. I don't love it. And I need to be persuaded to love Rudy Gobert, I think.
The pick and roll was working real nice at the end of the game. That was unstoppable with him and Conley.
Fair enough.
When he's dunking, I think I messaged you and Chugs. It looks like someone dunking on a Nerf hoop. The rim does not look 10 feet tall when he dunks.
Can I make the case?
You can.
Will you indulge me?
But I will. So
I think every 3 or 4 years, a player with similar hype comes to the league like Rudy Gobert. I think Eddie Tavares is a really good example of this. Came to the Hawks in 2015, 16, around then. Just 7'3" rim protector and has that reputation. But what happened with Rudy Gobert is he was criminally underrated his whole life because every 4 years or so, there's a bust that looks like him. So Rudy Gobert dropped to 27th overall in the first round when he should have been a top 10 pick. Every indication was this guy's going to be elite on defense. Now, Utah, Rudy Gobert, certainly known as Defensive Player of the Year, one of the best defenders in the league. But I think he's actually pivotal to their offense because every action revolves around Rudy Gobert being one of the best aerial threats in the entire NBA. So I'll grant you, he whines a ton. But I think partially that reputation is because he's French. I think LeBron whines a ton. I think Trae Young whines a ton. I think pretty much every player.
All the stars do.
Yeah, all the stars
true.
do.
That's very true.
And I think Gobert's probably a top 15 guy, but he's considered a top 30, top 40 guy because he's so not flashy that I think a lot of people are why is this guy whining like he's a superstar? And the reality is he's probably the best player on the best team in the West.
So do you believe that? Do you believe that they're the best team in the West? I know the record shows it.
I don't believe they're the best team in the West, but I think he is their most valuable player ahead of Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. So I knew, from just being around you enough, and I say around you, but listening to you enough, your basketball IQ is off the charts high, which is awesome. And I love it. And it's one of my favorite things about listening to you talk is when you actually get to open up and talk NBA instead of boilerplate. I'm the community lead for NBA Top Shot, and I have talking points that I have to hit because we need to be really concise in our messaging. When it's you talking, I love it. And I am super curious watching this year's playoffs from the lens of Top Shot now. This is the first playoffs that we've really had. Yes, there was the bubble, but it wasn't as massive as it is now. You didn't have 500,000 users. Looking at it now and the strategy that you have to play in, how is it different for you this year? Are you looking at things differently, or are you still the same basketball fan from within?
Well, I think comparing it to last year is really hard because we were in the bubble. So everything just felt surreal, right? I was coming off of a period of time where I was part-time jobbing throughout the summer and not super kind of, I had a lot of time on my hands. Like through that whole bubble stint, I was watching like the afternoon games. So, then I joined Dapper right around like mid playoffs, and it felt different, but it also felt like, how cool is this that I get to work on an NBA project? Now I kind of watch the games and I see it through the lens of like, all of these best moments are coming to Top Shot, and there are hundreds of thousands of people that are excited to collect those moments, and that's really cool. But it also comes with the territory where I have probably watched a third as many games, just because I've got a lot of emails to take care of and a lot of stuff to do.
Couple things going on.
Yeah, just a few, but no, I'm trying to make the pledge to myself that I'll watch every Knicks game, and I'll watch kind of as much as I can of the Western Conference late night game, but it's just in meetings pretty much through the end of the first game every night.
So I'm curious, as a Knicks fan, watching them kind of as new team relative to the last 5 or 10 years or so. What's the feeling? You're in New York, right?
I am.
What's the feeling walking up and down the street? Is it just Knicks fever? Do you walk up and down the street anymore?
No, I don't. I live in Brooklyn, actually, only like 10 minutes from Barclays Center, so way closer to Barclays. But no, to answer your question, I don't leave my apartment. It's probably not a healthy look, but like it's wake up, work, close the day, go to sleep, wake up, repeat. And like on weekends, I'm able to get out and about some, but it's, I'm too far from where the Garden is. But like on game nights, it's certainly like, if you're anywhere close to Midtown, and this dates back to 2012, 13, the last time the Knicks were in the playoffs. It's just, like everyone's wearing Knicks jerseys. I don't know if you guys saw the videos of like after the game last night,
just shutting down the streets.
Yeah, it's like we won the championship. We won a game in the first round with home court advantage. It's great. Like I think Knicks fans genuinely are the most passionate NBA fans, and I think that we really are. Like when a championship happens, it will be. I'm a Yankee fan. I've been spoiled. I'm a Giant fan. I've been spoiled. When the Knicks championship happens, I think it will be the biggest championship in my lifetime, and not independent from me being just a diehard NBA fan. I think a lot of my friends that are not as crazy about the NBA would agree a Knicks championship would just mean something to the city that the other teams can't do.
Makes sense. So I'm curious. So one of the things that sort of stuck out to me about the series thus far is sort of the chippiness, right? The end of game buzzer beater or not quite buzzer beater, I guess, from Trae Young, sort of at the end of the game, and sort of the charisma or the bravado or whatever of shushing the crowd and so forth. Like, I'm curious how much of that is accessible to Top Shot. I know that with the LaMelo Cool Cats Master Challenge, like we get a cool slam and a sort of a stare down, but how often are the editorial decisions about moments predicated on what you can and can't show relative to the personalities of the players and sort of the on-court antics or sort of off-court representation of that?
I think that to answer your question, no moment makes it to Top Shot without a thumbs up from our partners at the league and the PA. So we value their opinions. We need to maintain a trust. So I think there are situations like Trae Young shushing the crowd from game one. And our hope is that we are able to get that kind of into the moment itself, because I think that partially makes the moment. As you both know, like Tyler Hero's smirk from the playoffs, that made the thumbnail of the moment. So there are times where we're going to be able to do it, and there are times where we'll have to make kind of changes on the fly or minor tweaks around the edges. But generally, I think we are seeking kind of the moments that define who these players are.
That's awesome. I think that's one of the coolest parts about what we've seen in terms of growth thus far. In like the things that sort of is really visceral to me about watching NBA games is being like, oh, put it on a Top Shot, right? Like that's the cliche way of putting it. But I thought it immediately when I saw Ian Edwards with the dunk. I've seen it a couple times since where it's like, oh wow. And it's not just the dunks, it's other things too, where it's like, oh, that's meaningful relative to everything else. And those things rise above. So in thinking about the playoffs, and I know that, and we're going to cover a little bit of what you went through in the blog post. I assume you wrote it, or you were at least heavily involved in writing it. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think last night's blog post was a total
Group
team
effort. Yeah.
Definitely a group effort. And I will say that Roham had a really nice hand in writing.
Okay.
And Roham's an excellent writer. And also very much like, I think there's a misconception. I think he's as in tune with the community and is sensitive to trying to, he recognizes where we need to take it to regain trust at times and really build up a good connection. So I definitely tip my hat. He did some awesome wordsmithing. And, I think we just brought on 2 new comms people.
Okay.
We're very excited to have both Jackie and Sean. Jackie is our VP of comms and Sean's our director of comms. And they both come from really impressive backgrounds and have been doing really excellent work. So I think our team just in general,
sure.
Like if I had to guess since the beginning of May, the people I work with day to day, there are probably around 20 new faces just in the past month, which is great.
That was going to be one of my questions tonight was like, what does your day-to-day look like now compared to what it looked like 2 months ago?
It's been amazing and surreal to see our team growing so fast with so many talented people. But I think, as we lend time to onboard and get people kind of up to speed, there are times where you almost have to cut corners to be able to do your day to day while also onboarding and kind of teaching someone to fish for the lifetime. So I think what you're seeing right now is just a hyper concentrated amount of growth on our team while trying to do exponentially more output because we have more people on the team. So that means we'll hit some things right and some things we won't do as well. But
for sure. So in terms of that blog post, the sort of like, here's where we're headed, the May roundup. One of the things that was outlined was kind of the future of Series 2 packs. Right. So I wanted to talk a little bit at the start of, could you give, for those folks that may not have read it, can you give the sort of verbal, here's the roadmap of what we're going to see throughout the playoffs in terms of the packs and what are contained within each of those? And I'll ask some questions throughout because I have a couple based on what I saw, and I just would love some clarification on those things. So can you outline sort of what we're going to see for the rest of Series 2 throughout the playoffs?
Sure. And I'll caveat all of this with I'll answer to the best of my ability because it's hard to roadmap sometimes in the future when, we are moving so quickly. So I think the next drop you'll see that is not a common drop will be Hollow Icon. I think you'll likely see. Hey, sorry. What's up, Chugs?
I figured I'd bring him in. Now's as good a time as any. He's at his in-laws' house. I don't know if you've been following this saga, but anyway. We'll get into that later. So the next drop that will not, other than the common drops, will be the Hollow
Icon. Okay. Same edition size as the previous 2. We're not.
So out of 99.
Out of 99. I think as far as target collector score, we're still figuring it out. I have some kind of insights around that are a little too early to share. One thing that I imagine will be newsworthy that I am willing to share here is that we have not committed to snapshot for this drop. There is going to be an opportunity for people to potentially build up their collector score to get eligible for the drop.
Super smart. I know that you guys have played around with that a couple times. And one of the things that I've said consistently, and one of the criticisms that I've had of those sort of mechanics that you've been playing with is, I liken the idea of qualification to an airline miles program. And in airline miles programs, for example, and I was a frequent flyer for many years for my job, I knew exactly what I needed to do to hit the status that I needed. And in fact, I would bend over backwards to take extra segments or longer flight hauls as a means of hitting a particular threshold to reap the benefits of whatever level of status that I was after. And like it's fair, I think, very fair to hold people to a standard, especially if you're explicit about what that standard is. And one of the criticisms that I had in the past is like, it's very difficult. And I know that you have difficulty with the mechanics of making that happen and not having everybody rush to then meet that. But I think now that we've become a little bit more established, I certainly welcome that. And I know that people in the community would as well for, hey, this is what we're looking at for qualifications for this drop. If you can meet them, feel free. We're comfortable with whatever number of collectors that puts into the drop queue. So I give that a thumbs up.
Yeah, and I think it frankly took time, right? Like as we're looking at kind of the marketplace, right? The collectors, based on just sheerly collector score, there are two efficient ways to rapidly increase your collector score. And what we had for a long time been fearful of is rent seeking, where people are just trying to get in on the drop and then mass flipping after. But now if people are trying to buy up $2 moments, like it's not really that efficient for them to just undercut at $1. Like, right. You might as well keep at that point. So I think there's some of that where now that there is so much content, and I know that a lot of sentiment in the community is too much content, too many packs. But I think our intention was always for common packs to be readily available. Right. And now collectors can come to Top Shot and they can find their favorite players' moments at very affordable price points. So it's not ideal for collectors that had gotten in very early or relatively early and felt that more moments meant like their account valuations would go down. But I think now we're in a position where, I don't know, I have a lot of faith in people coming to Top Shot now in a much better place than they ever have been. And I think we have kind of guardrails in place to ensure that collectors know kind of everything that's going on. And look, I think if we can go back in time and do things differently, there are dozens and dozens of things we would do differently.
Yeah, but we'll get to that because I've got questions about that.
For sure.
And hopefully good ones, because I have some thoughts just in mapping out cool cats over time. Like I want to ask you a couple of those pointed questions. So in terms of Hollow Icon, it sounds like you're, at least on the surface, the news there is we're going to make collector source threshold. You have not committed to the snapshot yet. That's a fair statement. And at some point, and in terms of timing, it sounded like next week. So after Sunday, like Monday through of next week, at some point in that calendar week, like after the Memorial Day weekend.
I think I'll be super transparent. It's contingent on us being able to build features that will allow a collector to come to the pack page and see if they have see what their collector score is, right? Like,
okay. So you gotta figure out that feature and make sure it's stable and working before we get to the point where you can determine an eligibility on the fly.
Right. And so I think if that's ready next week, great. If not, maybe it's the following week. But that's kind of where we're at on it.
I appreciate that. So after Hollow, it sounds like there's some common packs for the playoffs based on reservation stuff as well. Can you explain a little bit of that mechanic?
Sure. So we reached our, like, we were really proud of the product achievement of being able to create reservation packs on a weekly basis. There are a handful of reasons why that was literally not possible for our product even 2 months ago. And we got a lot of feedback from the community that this is too much at once. It's 0 to 100. So what we've kind of settled on is, like, again, we want to create the very best new collector experience possible. And we know what's integral to a positive new collector experience is the ability to get your first pack. So what we're creating is a system where new collectors can get their base set reservation pack every week. Or sorry, there will be a pack for them every week. Be it the base set or be it the playoff pack. because it's the playoffs, we want to celebrate that. So every other collector that wants to get Chris Middleton's game winner, for example, they will be going for the playoff packs, and there will be great playoff moments.
There's a lot already. there's at least 10 that I know of.
Right. So there's a lot already, but also what makes it interesting is we were like theoretically in a position to maybe have playoff packs as soon as next Friday. But the realization is that means we can't get games 1 through 7. We're getting games 1 through 4. So we don't want to use, let's say LeBron, just for ease of kind of convenience. We can't use a LeBron moment from game 2 if there's a chance that in game 7 he's going to hit the game winner, right? We don't want
good problem to have, I guess, but I totally see it. Not something that I thought about, but yeah, you can only use one per round. You're not going to have multiple LeBrons.
Right. So that's why we delayed it a week. But I think as far as kind of these playoff packs, I'm really excited to see what the demand looks like. I think collectors who want to get a playoff limited edition pack, like, the moment will come out as CC is my understanding, and will eventually be retired at the end of Series 2, which is not super far away. So
yeah,
that's kind of
I like that idea. So I've been watching the chat as well, and it looks like generally speaking, that's sort of people are thinking that's a good idea. Chugs, Taylor, thoughts on like playoff packs? Any questions that you guys have? I know I have a handful about how this might work compared to what it was in the Series 1 playoff dynamics. But like to, if you guys have anything, please feel free to hop in.
I had a quick question.
Yeah, go Taylor.
I want if you can or can't answer it, are some moments from the play-in like in contention, or are we talking playoffs? I know the NBA seems to make a very strict delineation of there's play-in, not the playoffs, even though they feel like the playoffs. Is play-in on the table? Or
I think play-in moments are on the table, but probably not in playoff packs. Probably in MGLE or in Hollow Icon or yeah, those are the two instances that I think we might see play-in moments. I think you're right about that delineation. And we had an opportunity to maybe call it the post-season pack rather than the playoff pack, but long-term, like, come on. Playoffs is what it like. There's cachet to playoffs.
As a Warriors fan, still reeling
I was
from
gonna say,
the LeBron
I was going to say, Taylor.
I'm like, I don't want to see that moment, but at the same time, I know the community needs to see that LeBron 3 moment. But as a Warriors fan, it's going to kill me to see it. But I want to know when we're going to see that.
So sorry for that very distracting Chugs situation down over in here.
I'm at a lake house with all of my nieces and nephews and stuff, and we're just I'm surprised I have better internet than Plunge. I'm using my phone as a hotspot, and it's better than PlungeNet. So,
dude, my parents are here this week, so I've got like 3 other adults on Wi-Fi. I'm like, get off the Wi-Fi. My wife was like, oh, we should watch a movie tonight. I'm like, watch a DVD. Don't take up my bandwidth. I'm talking to Jacob. Do you know how big this is a big deal. We got Jacob on the stream, guys. We can't screw this up.
I did have a question though, Jacob, and it looks like somebody's actually tagged it, the mint count for the playoff pack moments. So you said that they're probably going to come out CC, the playoff moments. Is it going to basically be one playoff moment per pack, and then the rest are just part of the S2 base? Is that kind of going to be the setup similar to Hustle and Flow, like the blog indicated?
I'm not positive. I know the answer. Can you maybe rephrase the question? Like,
so Hustle and Show came with a Hustle and Show and 4 base moments. Is that structure going to hold through?
Yeah. Will it be like a playoff and then regular base moments, or is it like a pack of playoff moments that may or may not be at 35,000 count or whatever, a high count?
Right. I think it's going to be a playoff moment and 2 base moments in the pack.
Okay.
And I think the playoff moment will start out as CC, depending on demand. Like, I can't project as to what the edition size is, but yeah, that's a good question.
So is that, so you mentioned edition size. So like, is the idea because it's a reservation pack that we will know, hey, there's going to be X number of packs available. We have Y number of collectors that are eligible and have reserved, and we're going to mint to that demand. Is that the understanding?
Yeah,
Roughly?
and I think also like these playoff packs are going to be available every other week, right? So I think there's going to be kind of as the playoffs go on, it's not really my forte to speculate, but like
Sure.
my understanding is that
There could be
there could be more
one.
Chris Middletons from round one coming out
Sure.
later in the playoffs.
Okay.
And because we have the conference finals kind of, and then there were 4, I think is going to be the name of that set.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, as long as you guys still commit at some, I know that you're not going to talk about it, and I know that it's been tabled forever, but like as long as you burn the Eastern Conference Finals moments, that's all I care about. Because from Series 1, I decided that was my first, like I found something on Crypto Slam about Top Shot. That's what got me hooked, is when I figured out that there was only 275 actual real ones out there. That was the thing that like I sleuthed into. So as long as you guys do that, I'm cool. You do whatever you need to do with the other playoff moments. Call it, and then there were 4. Do what you got to do.
It'll happen. You have my word there. I think it's
Cool.
it's one of those things that like we know we need to do at some point. We know that like there are certain collectors like yourself that are really like it makes a big difference to them. But we also look at kind of all the things on our plate to do, and we're like,
it's so low priority in the grand scheme of things.
It's like it's 2 months away from being 2 months away, pretty much always.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as someone who works roughly I work in software, just different industry. Like there are things that are critical, and then there are things that are optimization. This is not critical. This isn't like keep the lights on business case stuff. This is like, appease the 17 people that have figured this out.
I will say safely that of the frequently requested items that have been talked about for a long time, marketplace packs will definitely come first.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good to know. So in terms of then the cadence beyond that, so playoff packs every other week, reservation style, which seems to be going really well. Is the sentiment on the team as well that like, hey, we hit something that works. Seems like we're getting the right traction with. It's helping us with the technology side of things. The reservation structure, is that something that we can kind of anticipate seeing in perpetuity?
Definitely for new collectors. We really like it as something to have, and we want to give collectors the ability long term to go back to what it was like in Series 1, where you can get into a queue and you can get more than one pack. Right now, I don't think Top Shot was necessarily designed to be a one pack at a time design. So I think giving collectors the ability to buy multiple packs is certainly something we want to do, be it in a reservation queue for a base set, or be it kind of an alternative method in a more premium listing. We'll figure that out in due time. I don't think it's coming within the next few drops.
Okay. So then with that, as we continue forward, sort of like outlining the remainder of the roadmap, you've got and then there were 4 sets. Those will be rare, correct?
And then there were 4.
Oh yeah. So the conference finals.
Yes, those are rare, and then we'll have legendary finals packs.
Okay, and that's different from last year, in which there was a rare finals and a legendary on top of it. Is that correct? Am I making that up?
No, that is correct. There was there was the 2020 finals, and there was the NBA finals 2020.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. So in terms of other roadmap stuff, like that will cap then Series 2. And in terms of collector score, in terms of like eligibility for the holo icon drop, the rare sets for the conference finals, and then the legendary, is it safe to say that you're targeting not snapshotting, but putting the requirements out there for all of those different iterations and letting collectors meet those requirements from a collector's score perspective?
I think one thing I've learned in recent months is, before committing to what our 4-pack plan is, let's see how pack number 1 goes in that plan.
Go holo icon. So right now, what we can say unequivocally for anybody that's joined us since the last 15 or 20 minutes, for the legendary holo icon drop that is coming at some point in the next week or so, depending on if we can get the functionality in play to show eligibility in real time on the site, that there's not going to, or the plan is, at least right now, to not have a snapshot of requirement conditions, but to publish those and then have a period where collectors can meet those challenge requirements through the marketplace or however, what other mechanism they can achieve.
I will say for the plan right now tonight, that is a fair thing
Sure.
to say.
Fair enough.
I would also say that there was something in there that I wanted to nitpick, just in the sake of not getting kind of backlash. I'm blanking on what you said specifically, but I'm sure it'll come to me.
Okay, yeah. If there's something specific, like, please feel free to correct me. I'm trying to be precise with my language so that you're not. None of this is twisting your words. Just trying to clarify and make sure that you guys have an opportunity, another venue, because like writing is one way to communicate, and I've always appreciated early on. One of the things that stuck with me from the first time I ever heard you speak in an office hours was like the one-to-many structure matters a lot in terms of communication. And I know that gets harder and harder and harder when the many are in a lot of different places. There is no one captive audience. Not everybody reads email. Not everybody reads the blog. Not everybody goes on Twitter. Not everybody watches my stream. There's only like 240 people here right now. So I appreciate the willingness to sort of reiterate and reframe some of that stuff. So other things from that blog, anything else that like, hey, you want to make sure, like if people leave with nothing else, like what does Jacob want to make sure people understand? What are you excited about with that? What, I know there was a lot in there, and you mentioned Roham and other people on the team sort of wordsmithing. What was your like most important takeaway from that blog for everybody else to understand?
That's a good question. I would say on a few things. Number one is we hear you as a community. We know that there's been acrimony over how many packs we've released, and we are taking feedback into account as we're figuring out our release schedule. Number two, I would say, is the data supports it. We've looked into it very strongly. The community is healthy. There is a portion of the community that is trying to recoup losses because they came in at an inopportune time. And there's a healthy number of people that did that. And we want to make sure that those people feel heard, and we can figure out ways to make them feel welcomed and appreciated to be in the Top Shot community. Because frankly, like there is sentiment on our end of like, there was nothing that we did wrong necessarily, but there is still guilt about people coming in at the precise worst time to come in as a Top Shot collector.
Sure.
And not knowing when that was, right? So
I can tell you. Do you want me to tell you?
I have a pretty good sense now. But no, at the time for sure, like, you're going through it. And I would say for us, like, we want to take community sentiment and feedback into account as we're kind of creating our long-term strategy. But I also think on a few levels, right? Like, I think realistically speaking, when we were mapping out what Top Shot would be leaving beta, we were looking at it very much as, well, we'll have Top Shot, the collectible game, and we'll have Hardcourt, the mobile game, and it will be a complete product, right? We'll have two things happen. And Top Shot, the collectible game, took off well before we were ready for any of the kind of going to market, right? So what that means is we're starting from absolutely zero data points around how marketing will be successful, how we can do things. So with the product a few months ago, you certainly saw, okay, like the queue's crashing. Okay, let's introduce a queue. There were so many different layers to how we do everything that we need to optimize our product for the community we have. And I think our marketing team, 3 of them joined 2 weeks ago, right? People are very new and they're being thrust right into kind of high leverage situations. So as far as like Taylor's article, which I think was totally fair this morning and very well heard by our team, I think like the reality was like we went to our inboxes across Instagram, Twitter. Okay, who's an influencer in these worlds, who has a lot of followers, We know they love Top Shot. If we get them some packs and they do some promo, that's a good way for us to get initial data points. Now, because everything's on blockchain and everything's trackable, Taylor can look into just how poorly those kind of experiments went. But what I can say fairly certainly is like, there was never an intention for this first week or this first weekend of people going live to be like a big bullet in our chamber, right? That was very much like okay, how can we be opportunistic? We have 2 people that joined this week. You 2, you're tasked with this. Okay, let's reach out to everyone that got in touch with us that we said we're not in a position to market a few months ago.
Okay.
If we can get them.
Is that generally how the dynamic is played out? Is that like people get in touch with you, whether it's them personally or their management to say, hey, we have a person that's interested? Has that been sort of pretty commonplace?
There was about it was very, very commonplace kind of at the height of like NBA Top Shot craze, right? Like I'm not getting hit up by Diplo to go streaming.
No, Louis Hamilton isn't hitting you up anymore.
So, yeah. So like,
no comment. That's okay.
So I mean, we did DM with Louis Tomlinson a little while back, and he was just like super nice and complimentary of the product. But as far as like, I think for our marketing team, we just want to get a baseline of data points so that we can start doubling down on what's working and not do what's not working. For my background, like I worked in influencer marketing for 3 or 4 years doing YouTuber work, nothing with any of these other kind of platforms. And I feel very good about what YouTube will do for Top Shot long term. And I'm actively angling to reposition my day-to-day a little more toward that, because I think that's where my experience lends itself best to the business right now. So I think we'll see that. But in the meantime, like we just brought on our athlete relations lead. So she'll be able to kind of help organize these playoff shows and these streams that we're doing. And that will allow us to kind of play musical chairs in a way so that we can fill all of the roles on the team of what we need to do day to day. You guys mentioned there's no one centralized place for Top Shot as a community. I think we need to start playing email a lot more into our daily or weekly equation, whatever that looks like. I think we right now have a fairly cookie cutter kind of plan around kind of pack drops. Let's type them up. Let's send everyone the details. But I think, you know, Taylor does such a great job with his newsletter. And I think there are a bunch of other great newsletters out there. I don't know if a daily newsletter is what the answer is, but I think like you can certainly, what we know is our community loves content. They love updates. I think we can send out updates fairly more. We can hit more people more regularly on email. We have over 1 million emails on our email list. Every time we send an email, we get about 40% open rate. Like people want to hear from us.
That high? Holy cow.
It's really high. And
that's unreal.
I mean,
that's an unreal number. For anybody that doesn't know, 40% of your emails going from like a generic, like that's a massive number.
But to be clear, part of why it's so high is we use it sparingly, right? It's a tool that when we send it, we know people are going to want to hear from us. So there is a give-get there, but like that is the one answer to where every one of our collectors is. We know we can send them an email.
I had to pull this one up because I laughed at this.
Those are not Top Shot emails, to be clear.
It's the Dapper email.
That's the Dapper wallet. Those people.
And I think one thing I wanted to bring up that I think struck me as interesting is like I can't think of any other projects where you have a huge community of people that are focused on a company's marketing efforts. Like it's not commonplace anywhere else, right? Like I can't think of anything else where everyone's waiting on pins and needles. Like how are they going to market this? And it sort of evolved as this thing that you would hear people saying, like, just wait until Top Shot turns on marketing. And I think it may have unfairly like put too much everything under a microscope, where it was like as soon as the first bit of marketing leaked out, you'd see on Twitter everyone started overreacting, like, oh my God, everything's starting up, it's happening, like everyone calm down. And when you put everything under a microscope, it makes it like very difficult to experiment, like you said. Right. And I think that's why, like, while there are learning points, I'm still optimistic, right? Like who is in a better position with partnerships with the NBA players, former players, like that's why I'm still optimistic at the end of the day. So I think it's like a very challenging position to be in. And oddly enough, as someone who did influencer marketing for a couple of years previously with YouTubers, like it's strange to be in a scenario where everyone is waiting to see exactly what you do and like in a very volatile, critical area. So yeah, I definitely feel you on that one.
It's kind of ironic too, though, right? Because you've got this community that loves this product, or for the most part loves the product. They're engaged in it, they're locked in, and they want to tell their friends about what's going on. But at the same time, they're like, well, I'll just kind of sit here and wait and let the dapper guys, like in Top Shot guys, like get the word out and stuff. And it's like, it's kind of ironic, because wouldn't you sort of also want to kind of spread the good word, so to say? I guess kind of similar to what kind of took all of us when we first got in. I always think it's kind of funny, to Taylor's point, just such an emphasis on, what are they going to do marketing wise? And it's like, well, there's hundreds of thousands of you that, go tell your friend, and let them tell two friends, and let them tell two friends.
Well, I mean, what a luxury to be. I know that everybody like complains about like, oh, we're in early, and like, oh, you should feel privileged. And I don't want to send that sentiment, but like, to your point, Taylor, about being on pins and needles of, hey, is this company that I'm like invested in, not necessarily just financially, but in my case and in many other people's cases, like emotionally and like philosophically, and like we spend a large portion of our leisure time on this. Like, there's wanting you to, that's a good thing. Like, having all of these people wanting you to succeed really, really heavily is both a blessing and a curse in many cases, because everything that you do is so minutely dissected. And on that note, I want to ask a question to you, Jacob. Like, you joined the Top Shot team in October of last year. You have gone through, it sounds like, a crazy 8 months or whatever we're at now. Like, how are you? Are you good? Like, are you still enjoying yourself? Are there? I don't mean that as a joke.
No,
I mean
I appreciate it.
I'm very curious. Like, how are you doing? How has this been for you? Are there things that you wish people knew that
Sure.
they don't? And kind of, I'm curious where your head's at right now.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. Don't get asked that often. So I think, like, to answer the question, I'm having the time of my life. I've worked for a bunch of startups, and you work at a bunch of startups with, like, never in your dreams do you anticipate that it will happen to your startup. You'll go viral and everything will happen. and like, frankly, I joined the team at like the perfect time, right? Like, Roham, Arthur, Alan, Katie, like, they were grinding for years, right? They were behind crypto. They had faith from day one. And I joined certainly before Top Shot became a household name. And I like to think that I had a small role in helping kind of bring Top Shot to kind of the mainstream. But I think it would be disingenuous to complain. Like, I have such a privileged opportunity. Now, that's not to say that it's not hard, right? Like, I am waking up at 10:30 a.m. and going to sleep at 3 a.m. pretty much every day during the week. And it's a grind. And I think for me, what I want the community to understand is, like, we care a lot about everyone we want people to love Top Shot, because nothing would make our jobs easier than everyone being happy all the time. But even in times where the marketplace was booming and it was going to the moon every day, people find things to complain about, and there's always something, right? So
oh yeah, I had plenty of complaints back then too. I think I have equal amounts of complaints today as I did when things were mooning at that in February 21st or whatever, right? Just because you're so, like, it's just, now it has a flavor of, oh shit, like I might have lost money. And that's like, that adds a different dynamic to this. And I know that you can't talk about marketplace values and whatnot, but I think that like, in many cases, in my experience in the last few months, has been, the tone has shifted pretty considerably in the complaints being not just, hey, there's stuff that I wish was different, but there's stuff that I wish was different, and I like, my pocketbook is hurting, or at least my perception of my pocketbook is hurting, because I want to make something abundantly clear to everybody here. And Jacob, it doesn't matter if you co-sign this at all, but if you had unrealized gains, you don't have losses. Your losses are relative to your cost basis. 100%. Anybody that was like, "Oh man, I lost $60,000 from what it was at the top." No, you didn't. You had unrealized gains then. You have unrealized gains now. So for everybody complaining, yes, it is valid that my account valuation at some point was this, but unless you executed on that, I don't care. Like I didn't, and that's okay because we had faith in that. I think where I do have sympathy and compassion and understanding is that like our thought, like many of our thought process at that time, why we didn't realize our gains when it was so high is because we have such faith and projection for where we can go and what the product was. And yes, many of us didn't understand what the market forces were at play, where there was such a massive disconnect between supply and demand. And now that we actually have supply and less demand or waning demand relative to what we had, things are significantly and substantively different. So I know that you can't comment on a lot of that. That was more of a PSA and me ranting a little bit to my followers because I see a lot of this crap in the discords that I'm in. But I just want to let you know that like I have similar complaints, like in terms of quantity as I have, just the quality of them is different relative to what they might have been 4 months ago. Chugs, Taylor, any thoughts on that?
You put on the Chugs mask. You put on the Chugs mask for that one. That's normally the PSA I give. It ain't a loss until you sold it. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Wow. On that note, cool cats. I want to talk cool cats. Yeah. So, Jacob, you have been busy. You're one of the busiest humans that I know. Do you have any concept of what is happening in the Cool Cats Discord right now?
I'm aware of it.
You're aware of it. Right. What do you know? Let me ask you that. Like, what do you know so far, or like, what do you I think you know about the Cool Cats Discord?
There is a large sum of collectors that have gone in on Cool Cats that are in a Discord commiserating going in on Cool Cats. That's kind of my understanding of it.
I think you're 85% of the way there. It is not all commiserating. We have a bacon channel where all the salt goes. All of the salt, we direct people to the salty channel. Hey, it's like the equivalent of the vent channel. Taylor's not allowed in because he doesn't have 29 of 29 Cool Cats.
I just get general.
29 means 29.
You get, yeah, and Lil Newbie, Jellin, like not allowed in. Crusoe's missing hair, not allowed in. 29 means 29. We are actively gating our community to people that are on the precipice of finishing this challenge. We're still figuring out the mechanics of verifying that once the challenge ends. But the idea with it, at least, is, hey, we're not just all Top Shot people. Like, we're all very specific versions of Top Shot people. We all think of ourselves, most of us, I would assume, think of ourselves as true collectors in some sense of the word. Many of us are holding massive bags relative to it. But I'm curious, like, as we think about the Master Challenge more broadly, I look back and see like a really crazy evolution of a product as we went. So I'm curious from your perspective, like looking back at where we started with it, like where we are now, how much of the 6 or 7 challenges, how much of that was on the here's where we think we're going, and how much of it was sort of iterated within the moment? Like, did you know that you were going to do 4 sets of 4 and a showcase and something or like something else, like base up moments? Like, how much of that was predetermined versus kind of made up as you went?
I think majority was predetermined, and some things were not made up as we went. I would classify it more as we knew we wanted to try a showcase contest reward. We knew we wanted to try base set moment for challenges. Basically, we wanted to treat Cool Cats, and this was conceived at a time where we felt we had enough leeway and a small enough community in beta to be able to get experimental with it, to see what we can start to do. So I think you're right. Like, it is very much the embodiment of what happened in Series 2 as a set, right? It started before the hype, and it's wrapping up when sentiment is low. And I think for us, looking at that set in general, we were able to accomplish a lot of the things we wanted to do. But one of the things that I think we could have done a much better job on, and is a disappointment, is that the sentiment in the community is we're making up the rules as we go. because we were making up the ways that we can disseminate the rewards, but we weren't trying to make up the rules to make it artificially unfair or harder, right? Like that was never the intent. So for us, like I think the showcase quest, for example, we didn't have quests as an idea a month ago, let alone like 4 months ago or 5, whenever Cool Cats was but we knew we wanted to get to a point where we can use these moments as a reward. Now, what I'll say is a good learning for us, and an unfortunate part of this is that we chose LaMelo Ball as the reward. And it was early in the season when we did that. And I think a lot of people came to Top Shot treating Top Shot more like trading cards, where, oh, that's the special LaMelo Ball rookie moment from this year, rather than there can be 8 LaMelo Ball moments in a season. And so that became a big sticking point as we released new LaMelos into the marketplace, into packs. Like people were like, we're destroying the value of the reward. Whereas I kind of feel like if we knew now what we had known then, we would have not chosen a rookie for it. Because I think collectors should know that the holo icon drop
will have the best rookies in it.
Right. It will have, and presumably metallic gold as well, right? So
right. It's in everybody's. I think it's in everybody's best interest to have opportunities to mint different levels and thresholds of rookies throughout, right? Like you're setting up the future of this, and arbitrarily, like, making the supply of LaMelo like small relative to everything else to artificially inflate this Cool Cats thing. It sets up a really weird, wonky dynamic down the line when there's a relative consistency of every rookie is going to have a /4000. The best rookies are probably going to be MGLE candidates. They will likely have the top 3 to 5 or 10 or however many holo icons. Like having that set to set consistency, or I should say series to series consistency is something that, like, I assume that that's important to you all. It seems like it has been in the communication. It just is unfortunate. I think a lot of us didn't really think through that because we weren't attuned to what your roadmap was.
Can I maybe turn the tables and ask you guys a question?
Sure.
What do you think the right solution is with Cool Cats Master Challenge as a reward? Do you like Plunge as someone that is very you've been very close to this set for a long time?
Sure.
Do you feel like there is a need for you to get kind of something extra on top of the LaMelo Ball, knowing full well that there might be a LaMelo Ball rare coming, there might be a LaMelo Ball legendary coming?
Super hard to say, like, I deserve something, right? Like I don't want to feel, especially because so much of this is tied to the monetary value of cost to acquire. Like it's really difficult to say you owe me X because it cost me Y, right? And I think that that's an incredibly bad precedent to set. That said, I will say that what, this Discord group that we have started and sort of set off has really opened my eyes to is that, like, I think the 2,000, or let's say that there's 2,500 or 3,000 completions, like the people that are doing that are incredibly valuable to NBA Top Shot and Dapper as a community. And what we have seen for the last 4 months in many cases is a very singular focus on the things that are loudest or hottest or burning the brightest for Top Shot. In a couple months ago, it was withdrawals, right? We need to focus on withdrawals. Well, first of all, pack drop stability, but then withdrawals and verification and all of those things. In the month since, it's been focused very heavily on new user, walk in the door, these types of things. And as Cool Cats have played out, I think what gets lost in the shuffle in many cases are that middle group of people. We weren't here super early. We got here, we participated because that's what was available to us and that was what was interesting. And we want to stick around, but the financial loss, or like the perceived financial loss of this relative to what we might have expected, is massive. And I think there's going to be attrition because of this. You cannot please everyone. Do I feel like I deserve something different? Maybe not, but it would be an incredible show of good faith. And I think a really, really welcome addition, even if it's not something that you advertised in advance, because I have a full, like, part of the reason that these challenges got so out of control, in my opinion, was that there was a massive run up, an artificial inflation of the values of things that crashed precipitously because of their inclusion in the challenges. So if you say, hey, you're going to get a LaMelo Ball autographed jersey if you finish this thing. Well, guess what? The prices just skyrocket back up and they're going to crash again. And it's less about that. So I think there's like surprise and delight elements that you can take advantage of. I'm certainly seeing it out because I'm committed to it. And I think there's maybe like something at the end of the tunnel. Who knows? If it's just the LaMelo, like maybe I'm a little disappointed, but you know, I think that it's a very precarious situation for you all to be in, but I would advocate on behalf of all the people that have done it that like those 2,500 or 3,000 people are vital to your community. You're not going to please them all, but doing something that acknowledges their involvement, their engagement, and their commitment is not a bad thing for Dapper and Top Shot to consider, and something that I think would be super welcome.
Cool. No, I think that's super fair and diplomatically said. And it's not lost on me. I think, like, transparently speaking, like, we're trying and we're not going to force it if it's not something that's there. But if we can find a way to make it something that will show good faith, we'll do it. And that's, you know, time is tight. So there's that layer to it as well. But
we're in touch. We're in touch with LaMelo's NFT people. I don't know if you knew this, but
yeah. We are.
Did you see this news today, by the way? How does something like that, like the announcement of that, first of all, and without pulling anything behind the scenes, like, were you aware this was coming down the pipeline? Question number one. Number two, what is the breaking of some news like that? How does that percolate through NBA Top Shot team?
Yeah. So probably less interesting or fun than, I don't want to disappoint. We see it on Slack as a link shared, and frankly, I have not been able to kind of like dive into it, just jumping around. But like,
it's the first athlete dynamic NFT. That's all you need to know.
What does that
It will adjust as his career achievements progress. So I think they have built some level of smart contracting into the NFTs that if he wins Rookie of the Year, for example, will unlock these other NFTs or something. So at least cool on the surface, at least from someone who's like just, you know, a kind of viewer of other NFT projects. But we are in contact with the people, Chugs and I and a handful of other folks from the Cool Cats Discord. We are in contact with other people. So I don't know if there's a good collaboration in play for NBA Top Shot to facilitate some level of NFT drop for the LaMelo. Hey, I mean, it's doable. I think it can be achieved.
We'll see what we can do.
It's okay. You don't have to. We'll do the work on our end.
I did want to ask.
Go ahead, Jackson.
I wanted to ask Jacob with the Discord that we started. It all kind of was born of we're all obviously in play for a LaMelo that at the beginning was, you know, he was the hottest rookie, and he still is essentially the hottest rookie this year, probably going to win the Rookie of the Year. But you know what was lost in that timeline was the fact that there would be more LaMelo moments. So the whole scarcity aspect of it that people might have thought in the beginning, it didn't really play out that way. So this group that we've created is sort of to say, let's kind of create something out of nothing with this in a way that kind of extends beyond just the reward that we're going to get ourselves. And I'm not going to say we're going to, you know, create, you know, have some, you know, a ton of perks and all kinds of stuff like that could go with this little group that we create. But when you see something like that getting created, these kind of mini communities that are based on a level of, you know, collectorship or whatever within Top Shot, is that the kind of thing that you guys sort of look favorably upon from y'all's seat? Like, wow, that's pretty cool. Or are you like, hey, should we be bringing this kind of in-house in some kind of way? Like, should this be a Top Shot type thing, or are we more satisfied just seeing people kind of take this and run with it in their own kind of way, the way we are?
Yeah, I think a rising tide lifts all boats. And for us, like, you know, I think the community's health is dependent on great kind of voices and personalities like you all are. And I think, there are times where I read a Taylor article, I'm like, damn it, we should have done that ourselves. But like,
I do the same, dude. I do the same.
But like, I think generally speaking, and you can look at a lot of other really strong communities, like Fortnite as an example. A lot of great content creators around Fortnite, and Fortnite's not trying to hire all of them to be kind of voices of Fortnite. I think the personalities and what's beautiful about Top Shot is like everyone can find a niche pretty quickly in the content creator space, and that's because we're pretty early in. But I think I love it, and what I would love to do more so going forward as we continue to scale up the team is join more of these streams, be able to kind of, be a human to human interaction.
We're on every Thursday. We're on it. And
you know where to find us.
Yeah, you know where to find us. You have an open invitation. And by joining, you're opening yourself up to some tough questions. You seem to have held yourself incredibly well throughout. I know Luke at the First Mint, who he's going to go on Thursdays as well. Like we'll have a pretty consistent like back to back. That's the plan. So I don't want to speak for him directly, but for the most part, I think he's always available and willing to. So not that we want to be the ESPN that's just like, hey, like whenever they need to say something, like they can just come on and pop off. But certainly I think the community appreciates you as a person. Every time I hear you talk, I feel better after having heard you talk. It's the stuff in between the lines that is challenging. And we really appreciate the transparency. I know that there's a huge double-edged sword with that, because that creates a huge rift in between what you're able to say and what you're not, and what the sentiment that you leave people with. But overall, like the erosion of trust stuff that you mentioned, sort of Roham working to fix, like that's the point. And the stuff that we can do to help with that, like, I'm happy to be a part of that. That said, I do want to be conscious of time. Like you said, you're up burning the candle at both ends. I know there were lots of questions in the chat for everybody that I may not have gotten to. Jacob, like you're free. I'm more than happy to keep you on if you want to keep running with it.
Let's do one more community question, and
yeah, let's pull
I'll let y'all
out.
choose it.
Yeah, let me pull something out. And you said something about I don't know. You said you might have a pack to crack. We can do something like that too.
Let's do that instead.
Okay, why don't we do that?
I'll share my screen.
Yeah, go ahead, and you know how to do StreamYard stuff, right?
Oh yeah. Let me know how you want to.
Old pro. Well, hey, I've got Nightbot set up. So what I can do is whatever pack you decide to do, we can do like pick a moment from that pack, and then we can just raffle it. We'll have everybody type in the chat. For everybody this is the notice for everybody that's on YouTube right now, you need to be in the Twitch chat in order to type for Nightbot. We won't be able to, unfortunately, include you in the giveaway. So hop over to twitch.tv/plungefather to be able to hop into that. And, while Jacob gets loaded up, we'll do that, but we'll make it like everybody that's typed in the last 10 minutes will be eligible for the giveaways, and then we can work on figuring that all out. So I'll go ahead and add you to the stream here. But yeah, so we'll go from there. So you mentioned like so far this Series 2 stuff, like what's been your favorite pack? I know that you can't collect right now, but I mean, were you like jonesing for a throwdowns pack? Were you jonesing for a hustle and show? Like what was the stuff that like you wish you could do?
I mean, what's cool for me, and again, I don't work on the live ops team. I can only opine where I can, and I think we have some of the like smartest guys in the world on that team. So, at times I wish I was on that team, just with like how cool a job they get to do, and they do such a great job with it. One of the few times I do get to work with the live ops team is around pack names and set names. So hustle and show was one that like. We were about 45. It was mine, but it was after like a 45-minute back. Like I can't take credit for many, but that's one that I can say was I was excited about.
Had you watched Hustle and Flow right before, listen to some 3-6 or something? Like shout out Memphis on that one. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, where did that one come out? How did that one come to be?
So we were trying to come up with, and the meeting was just like 4 of us, and we were just trying to come up with what's after Cool Cats as far as a common set. And it needs to be vague enough that we can include a lot of players, a lot of different types of players, and it needs to, have a theme. And Cool Cats, I think, had a cool theme, but it changed from every drop. And wanted to try to find was like, how can we find one narrative across every drop that like still shows enough variety and diversity in the plays? And I just thought it sounded cool, frankly. And I threw out, like, to be clear, I probably threw out 40 names in that 35, 40-minute brainstorm, and most of them were crap. But then there was a pause in the room of like, oh, I think we got it. So that was super cool. So I would say that one. I also just, Draymond's my favorite active NBA player. I love hustle guys, and he wasn't in that set to my knowledge. I can't collect these days, so don't know every player in every set, but
sure.
I just love the Marcus Smarts of the world. Like any guy that's gonna be able to dive on the floor and scrap for loose balls. Like I think those guys are a market inefficiency in the NBA to this day. And I think a starting lineup of 5 Marcus Smarts would get you pretty damn far in the NBA playoffs, even if you can't do too much as a skill player.
That said, what's your take on Dillon Brooks then?
No,
I love Dillon.
I love trying to make Dillon Brooks happen.
No, I think Dillon Brooks is already happening. Come on. He looked like Kawhi a couple nights ago. I mean, I think Dillon Brooks
he's a
dropping to the second round was irresponsible behavior by 30 GMs. Like, there's no reason a guy that was a star at Oregon, made the Final Four at Oregon, and clearly had NBA size that guy's a first rounder. I'm sorry. And I think he ended up in a great situation in Memphis. And the first time I really took notice to him as like a serious NBA pro is like, he was just like yapping a lot with stars on I think it was like Devin Booker and then like Damian Lillard on back-to-back nights. And it's just like, okay, this guy feels like he belongs. And just seeing him in the playoffs now, like clearly is a starter on a good team.
He's got to stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah. So are you like the Carlini of Top Shot packs? Like this is unbelievable. Steph Pseudo is just sitting there in the chat like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose it right now. Just pack hodlers. What do you want to do? What kind of pack? So we'll give away every moment. We'll roll Nightbot for everybody that's in the chat. That go ahead, everybody in the chat, just to get eligible. I'm gonna make it and kind of broadcast it pretty wide for like the last 15 minutes for anybody that's typed. So just looking for I don't know, Jacob, what do you want him to type? What do you want him to type?
Let's type. I don't know, man. This is tough. Like, I want to be witty. I don't have anything.
You don't have anything? Let's go with Jake the Snake. Let's go, Jake. Jake the Snake. Oh, you got to be paying attention in the Twitch chat. It's Jake the Snake. That's what we're looking for. Jake the Snake. So Jacob, which pack are we going to do we get to pick? Is this like a sushi buffet?
I wish it was a sushi buffet. I'm thinking a Cool Cat.
Hell yeah,
You tell me which Cool Cat drop, and we'll
Cool Cat one by far.
Cool Cat
I loved that pack. That was such a good pack. It had some fire in it. I saw you on was it the pack drop stream for Hustle and Show when the First Mint hosted, and you opened one up with Luke the other night. And there was, for everybody that wasn't around, this was a pack drop that I don't want to throw you guys under the bus, but there were some technical issues with the first end of it. And so they only were able to get out, 4,000 or so in the initial drop. And then everybody sort of came in behind, and it was awesome to be able to see those. And those were some of the first packs that many of us were able to get into. So yeah, let's open that one up. And I haven't heard this music in a long time, so I'm excited to hear the music again. So yeah, everybody, Jake the Snake, make sure to chime in. It looks like we have about 200 eligible users thus far. So if you're in the Twitch chat and you want to be eligible to do any of these giveaways, we're going to roll for each of the moments one by one after he
let me just interrupt really quick.
Yeah, no problem.
Remember I mentioned technical difficulties?
Sure.
we might be experiencing those same ones right now where I'm trying to even open the pack. You see,
it's just unresponsive.
Right. And we know what the issue is. It just might not get solved tonight. So how about this, Plunge? I owe you guys one.
That's fine.
We'll do this again sometime. We will do the giveaway. Apologies to disappoint.
No, it's okay. In the time though, this Jake the Snake,
Oh.
we do have some other
Oh,
stuff.
there we go.
We're here.
Hold
We're here.
on.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Right as we're
Serendipity.
losing faith. All right. I feel good about having gotten to this screen. We're making moves. We'll see. I mean, it
Let's
might take
do
a
it.
little bit of time.
That's okay. That's okay.
How
Alright.
disappointing will it be if it's
It's
a
okay.
failed
Hey, you know what?
opening?
We'll get through it. We'll get through it. This
There
looks
it
like
is,
a cool cat
wiggling.
pack. All right. It's wiggling. Wiggling's good. We like wiggling.
Yeah.
Wiggle, wiggle,
That's
wiggle.
moving.
Boop, 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 boop. You guys got to get Jason Derulo.
No, that's an idea. If we burn conference finals moments from Series 1 and we get Jason Derulo, we're good.
I'd be a happy
right?
man. I'll be a
Plungeon.
happy man.
Thrilled.
Yeah, I love that song. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Boop, 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 boop. All right,
Plunge
I'm very
doesn't
excited
speak
for this.
for me and Taylor.
Hey, shut your mouth. Very upset with you, Chugs.
All right, this is taking a while, but I'm hoping we're there.
All right, we're gonna get it. I'm feeling it.
There. We're getting there.
He's open. We're sending good juju. Everybody in the chat, let's get some W's in the chat. Jake the Snake. We're gonna get this open.
So I mean, this is a 5,000 count cat that's going to be in here.
5,000 count cat.
This is the
Devin Booker
OG
is
the
Devin
OG
Booker
cat
is the-
pack.
Some really good base set moments in here.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
there's a
Yeah,
bunch of LeBron threes in these. A lot of the KDs, the 7500s. There's some good stuff in there. Oh,
Zion
man.
7,500, right? I mean, there's plenty.
We're gonna get. I'm feeling it. And if not, so Jacob, while we're waiting for this to load, of the Cool Cats moments, there were 29. Do you have one that sticks out that you're like, oh, that one was dope, or oh man, like
What do we got here, guys?
I think
Oh,
We're hanging.
It's
we're hanging.
it's looking scary.
It's okay. It's okay.
To answer your question, I love the stuff.
Here we go.
Here we
Here
go.
we go.
We're alive.
We got him.
once we give up on
Do we,
it,
do we
I
even
feel
want
like-
to test the sound?
I don't
Do we
want to
wanna
test
try
it.
to get the
I feel like
sound?
it's a reveal all situation.
Oh.
If I play the sound, will you guys hear it?
I think so. If you shared the audio,
Did you hear it?
No, I didn't
on.
hear anything.
try to.
I don't think my audio is properly set up for it.
I think because it's the whole screen as opposed
Yeah,
to the tab.
yeah.
But we
That's
can
okay.
roll with it with no audio.
We'll just
We've made it this
Yeah.
far.
We've made it this far. I don't want to risk anything. All right, where are we starting? And
All right, so we're gonna roll it right now. Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake. This moment is gonna go to Whistle Piggy. Whistle Piggy. And Whistle Piggy, make sure to DM me or excuse me, shoot me on Twitter or Twitch or something your Top Shot username, so that we can make sure to get it to you. Chugs or Taylor, if you can write these down, this would be fantastic.
And
Whistle Piggy.
and want
Just
to
pick-
caveat to everyone. I cannot guarantee we'll be able to gift this tomorrow. Let's
That's okay.
anticipate a week from today. So you'll get it by next
Yeah.
Thursday, just to expectation set.
All right, we got this.
All right.
Cool.
What's Whistle Piggy getting?
Whistle Piggy, what are we getting?
Which one are we opening?
I don't know. Let's go with number 2.
Door number 2.
Okay.
John Collins.
John
John
Collins.
Collins dunk. Not the cool cat dunk though, right? Just the regular, just a
Right.
base dunk.
Correct.
Mhm.
It's 15,000. I'll give a fun fact about every single one of these guys.
Okay, let's do it.
Wow.
All right, go for it.
So 2 fun facts about John Collins. Had the highest college PER of any player since Anthony Davis.
Really?
And secondly, the first player I wrote a feature for on NBA.com. Those are the two. Those are
Nice.
my 2 John Collins fun facts.
All right, let's
Nice.
roll it again. Let's roll it again. Here we go. We're gonna roll it. This is for the next moment. Looks like Captain Robo Live. Captain Robo Live. You're gonna be. I don't know, Chugs. Why don't you pick the next one?
Let's go bottom row left.
Door number 4, Devin Booker.
Ooh,
This is
Got
the
it
cool
is.
cat.
Oh, the book.
there it is.
The best
Oh, good.
cat.
The best
Pretty-
cat.
It's
Pretty
the be-
close
it's
to the
best
final
drop
mint
one
there.
cat.
Yeah, it is pretty
Yeah,
close.
what
Almost.
is it? 49,
Devin Booker
59?
gets
Yeah.
buckets. He's so good.
Devin
Man, he's
Booker,
good.
fun fact. Let's come up with a good one. I think he was the 3rd leading scorer on his Kentucky team. Obviously, Cat was the star of the team. They lost in the Final Four to Wisconsin. That was led by his now teammate, Frank Kaminsky.
There you go.
Boom.
I love Frank. He's
Frank,
cool.
Frank the Tank.
He's a very good dude. He went to
Dude.
Bennett Academy in Chicago with a couple of friends of mine. All right, we're gonna roll it again for number 3. Guard C13, GARDC13. Taylor, why don't you pick this one? Where are we going?
We're going bottom right.
All right, what do we got?
John Wall.
John Wall.
I think this is his Top Shot debut.
I was gonna
It
say
is.
it's a debut, right? Yeah. Nice.
These are all throwbacks. I miss these moments.
Takes me
Yeah, I
back
know,
to a
dude.
different
It's,
time.
it's hard. It's hard. There's only over 1,500 moments on the platform now, so it's like, you start to lose sight of some of them, and it's cool to see them again. It's been a while.
So my John Wall fun fact is he was probably, so I went to the Jordan Brand Classic, which was like the McDonald's All-American game, but it was sponsored by Jordan Brand. And I went for 5 straight years. And I think John Wall was the most hyped guy I saw in the 5 years. He was like electric. And he ended up, of course, playing in college with DeMarcus Cousins.
Fergie.
And those guys, I think, were the leading scorer of that Jordan Brand Classic. But yeah, we got that Top Shot debut.
Nice. Guard C13. Make sure to hit us with your Top Shot username, GARDC13, so that we can make sure to get you that down the line. We're going to provide this so we're going to roll for the 4th moment here, and that is watch the Shaz. Watch the Shaz. I'm going to go top right. I like top right. And then Jacob, you can pick the last one. I'll leave that.
Okay. Hey, Michael
there we
Porter,
go.
right?
There we go. Oh man, he's so good. He's a stud.
Very good.
Very ho hum moment. Can I say that? Is that okay if I say that? It won't offend you.
Well, when you're 6'10", you don't have to jump that high to
That's true.
connect.
Well,
on
here-
family.
It's fundamental.
He's so damn tall, man.
Here's some
Watch-
context, though. To be fair, right?
Mhm.
We had, so just be mindful of the date, December 29th. At this point, we're in a scramble. Not scramble, that adds added drama. But we were trying to get enough base set moments out there early in the season so that we can have a legendary drop like Deck the Hoops that had base set moments. So, you make the decision in the first week of the season of like, okay, yeah, we're probably not going to get the very, very best, but it means that we can get moments out relatively soon after they happen. So those are kind of the choices you have to face. So that's the context there. My Michael Porter Jr. fun fact is my first assignment for Draft Express was covering an Under Armour Elite 24 tournament, which was, again, the best high schoolers in the country. Michael Porter Jr., DeAndre Ayton were the kind of marquee guys. But the guy that I came away from that day most impressed by was Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo, of course, slept on a little bit even out of Kentucky, fell into the late lottery. But I think of those 3, Bam would probably be who I'd start my team with still to this day, even acknowledging how good Michael Porter Jr. is, even acknowledging how good DeAndre Ayton is.
Is just length or like versatility? Like, why do you say that?
I think that the biggest winning Plunge. So you mentioned you're not a huge NBA fan, or weren't at least.
I'm becoming more and more attuned with it, but I'm no expert.
And did you have a sport growing up that you just loved?
Yeah, I was a baseball, football.
Baseball, perfect.
Yeah.
So I have a theory about guys like Bam Adebayo, where the league is getting increasingly smaller, more versatile, and you have more guys that can basically play point forward at all times. So you can think of guys around the league. Noah Vonleh played this role for a long time. He's not in the NBA right now, but he might get another contract someday, who are kind of like lefty specialists, if you will, for baseball, where they are particularly good because they can get out the Barry Bondses of the world or the whoever. And Noah Vonleh gets a contract because he defends Giannis well. He defends LeBron well. Bam Adebayo does that job really well as like an elite lefty specialist of defending the best big like point forwards, but he's also got a lot of Draymond Green on the offensive end where he's an elite passer, sees the floor really well, and is a great rebounder. So I think like
I learned something new today. I feel like I'm going to use that in a bar chat at some point. Thank you for that, Jacob. See, like literally, this is my favorite thing about you is that your knowledge of basketball is unmatched from anyone that I personally know. So I know that there are people out there that know more about basketball than you. I don't know any of them. So I'm glad that you're around. So with that, we have one more to go. Everybody in the chat, make sure to type Jake the Snake. Make sure while we're doing this though, like, subscribe if you want. You're welcome to. I've made it very abundantly clear that all subscription costs I split 4 ways with Taylor Chuggs and Greg Murray. We all each got $162 in April. I put mine in ETH and it's now worth less than $100. So be careful with what you do that. But we're gonna roll ahead and do this last giveaway. We're gonna roll it now. And Crypto Scarface is going to be the owner of this last moment. Crypto Scarface. So hit us with your Top Shot username 2892 for the Tatum. Nice.
Hey, Tatum.
What do you think about the Celtics' chance? Do you think they can get a game off the Nets, Jacob?
I think if we were in a pinch to get playoff packs out next week, which we're not, to be clear, we're waiting a week. The Celtics would probably be the team we start with, just because I don't think that series is going particularly far. But Jason Tatum, to no fault of his own,
a lot of young
course,
guys other than John Wall in this one.
This would definitely be a team that could do damage in the playoffs. My Jason Tatum fun fact is he played college ball at Duke with obviously a bunch of college players. There's one player that Jason Tatum joined in their kind of recruitment at Duke, who he said was better than him. That player is an active player. There was one guy that got recruited with Jason Tatum, played at Duke with Jason Tatum, that Jason Tatum said was a better prospect.
Grayson Allen.
Not Grayson Allen, but good
No.
guess.
Cam Reddish.
Definitely not Grayson.
Not Cam Reddish.
Not
Justin Jackson.
Harry Giles is the answer.
Harry
actually.
Giles.
That's right.
I was trying
the
to think
Kings
who
still?
were the other blue chipper guys that were with him. But yeah.
Is he still in the Kings?
No, he was in Portland earlier in the year. I believe he's still maybe he had his injury.
Well,
His career's just never really taken off.
Yeah.
He's
Jacob,
a very
Go ahead.
talented player, but it's circumstance and opportunity are everything. And I think Harry Giles in big kind of when there have been injuries, both in Sacramento and in Portland, he's shown flashes, but health is part of, the luck of it all is having durability. So anyway, Jason Tatum, excellent player. Yeah.
Thank you for cracking that pack for the community. Everybody, if you didn't already, send on Twitch, DM, or on Discord, Twitter, anybody that won one of those giveaways, make sure to DM me with your Top Shot username, and I'll get those to Jacob. And as he mentioned before, no promises on gifting them tomorrow. They got to work out some technical stuff, but at the very least, by next week. Jacob, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate your willingness to be open and honest and communicative and super knowledgeable in sharing that shit, because it humanizes you in a really important way. I consider you like a friend, even though we haven't really met in person or anything like this. I spend a lot of time listening to you and interacting with you in a variety of different ways. So I appreciate all the work that you're doing. I know that there are challenges that you're facing. There are things that are really tough right now, but I just want you to know that on behalf of all the guys here and everyone else, we do appreciate the work, even if the criticism comes heavy sometimes. So with that, you've been here 90 minutes. You said, hey, maybe we'll go 60, or we went 90. I know you couldn't stay away, but go get some sleep, get some rest, or do work, or whatever it is that you need to do. And like I said, doors always open. If you need something, if there's anything we can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. We really appreciate your time.
Really appreciate it. If I could just make a last minute plug.
Hell yeah.
We're going live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern with Ben Wallace and Richard Hamilton. Two guys that were heroes of mine growing up, so it will be certainly a cool experience.
05 Detroit?
04 championship.
04.
Yeah.
But they had
I'm not that scrubby out of bath. I know some things.
They had a run when I was a kid that just kind of it felt like every year they were going to be in the conference finals. So
I just
excited
remember
for
Rip
that
from UConn. I remember that team. That was like a very good basketball team.
Rip also played with Michael Jordan with the Wizards, so he'll have some
he
stories
did.
there.
Yes, he did. Please ask.
But yeah, really appreciate having me, guys. This was a lot of fun, and Plunge, Taylor, Chugs, what you guys do in the community is super appreciated and it's awesome. And I think like it's a testament to just how many people are in the chat right now, just engaged. They love you guys, and that's I appreciate you guys having me on. So till next time.
Yeah, for sure. There will be definitely a next time. So we'll talk soon. Okay, Jacob.
Yeah,
cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on.
All right, take care. Bye bye.
What a treat.
What a
Plunge,
treat.
aka Barbara Walters, man. Just crushing it.
So every time I hear, like, and I've said this before too, and I've said it, like, Jacob is the Sean Spicer's a bad example, but like, he's the press secretary. Like, that's his job. And for anybody that doesn't recognize that, like, kick rocks. His job is to be the front facing community lead of Top Shot, and he has to be incredibly calculated in terms of what he communicates, because it needs to be a consistent message. Like, that's a tough job, and he is one of the hardest working people. He's burning it at both ends. Yes, it's fun, but like, oh man, that guy gets shit on all the time. And I'm just glad that he came and flexed some of those muscles, because like, you can tell he cares, not just about Top Shot, but like, he loves basketball, and that's cool. That's really, really cool. To have someone that's that invested and that engaged in the game, like, and knows more, literally more than anyone that I know about basketball, like, leading the community. That's a good thing, in my opinion.
Totally. I love it. That was awesome.
That was fun.
I knew Jacob was knowledgeable about basketball, but
yeah,
when we started getting into like, I'm going to name 2 fun facts about every player, I was like, holy shit.
You never seen him do that party trick
levels
before?
Come out.
No. That's the best part about like watching him with. I think he benefits when they have like like a broadcaster type personality that's on with him, that can kind of direct traffic, so that he could be the color guy talking to these players about like, hey, here's this really interesting fun fact that I know about you, or the like the situation that you were in. Super impressive stuff. So dude, that was big ups. Like, there were like 500 people in here at some point, so really appreciate everybody that came in. And been kind of watching around. So we got some more stuff to talk about a little bit. I need to like get another beer. And I'm not sure if you guys need to as well. We got some more guests. So just for everybody's ready, and I actually need to use the bathroom too. We're gonna take a little bio break. But I'm gonna leave you guys on to talk amongst yourselves. We've got a couple things coming up. We've got Kyler from Nifted Gateway, or excuse me, Nifted, not Nifty Gateway. I keep getting that wrong. Nifted Display. Who's going to give away one of those to one of our Cool Cats Discord members. I got everybody loaded up from there. Top Shot newbie, you're not allowed in, so good luck with that. We've got Gem 10 Wax, who's got a LaMelo Panini Gem Mint 10, a rookie card that we're going to give away to folks in there. And then we got a couple other like Top Shot moment giveaways to kind of finish out the show. So I'm going to remove myself from the stream for 2 minutes, because I need to use the bathroom and grab a beer. But talk amongst yourselves. Don't disparage me too much. I will be right back. Okay.
Taylor and I are gonna have a staring contest.
We'll hold it down. We need the like intermission music. We need Caruso to work on some of that.
Right.
We'll be back momentarily.
So Taylor.
Yeah. Now that we can finally talk about the Grizz Dub series.
Are you just gonna? Yeah, look, you're already getting a lineup of base moments because of that stupid bet from the last game of the season, which I need to gift to you because it's probably been 7 days by now.
It has been 7 days.
Yeah, so I need to get on that. You need to collect. Not necessarily the Grizz. I was gonna say, what? Are you just gonna get the 29? Are you just gonna do it? Get the Cats? Just come over.
I have one right now. So I don't know if it keeps dropping, I might have to, right? Like my thinking is, which one do I have?
Yeah. Which one do you have?
I have the Simmons. That was one I was saying. I have the kind of stretch of a numerology serial where I have, 704, where I was like 4th of July for the Sixers, which I kind of like. A bit of a stretch. That's the one I have. Yeah, I'm watching from the sidelines as the timer ticks down. I mean, if prices keep dropping, I might just have to roll the dice and get in there, which feels kind of gross. But like, I've just been, Cool Cats has been this like 5-season long show that everyone watches and talks about. And I'm just like the person that hasn't even seen a single episode. And I'm just like, cool. Like you guys keep talking about this. Maybe I'll watch it later, but like there's so many seasons to catch up on. It's kind of how I feel about Cool Cats. So it feels kind of weird to like dive in.
You can binge it quickly.
Well,
I don't know if you guys saw this.
I might do it.
You guys, so LG invited me on the first Mint stream before this, and he was like, "We're gonna have." He texted me and he goes, "Hey, you got to come on for the Cool Cats funeral. I've got a surprise." And I was like, "What?" Yeah, they put it. It was actually a really well produced video. But anyway, besides the point, I get in there and I just like go off and I do what I do. And I was like, I don't fucking care. Like, I did my thing, right? And he was like, whoa. Like I took over the stream, and then he was like, dude, I wanted to tell you that I bought all of the Cool Cats. So like LG bought all of the Cool Cats so that he could get into the Discord.
Oh my god,
yes, love it.
He needs to get in there. So
I've got to say, for everyone that like thinks that there's some priority or there's some like, you know, I get behind the velvet rope and get let in just because I know Plunge and Chugs. No, I've been in general looking at all the notifications, people joining, and I'm not even sniffing the back room. Yeah. I'm just stuck in the lobby.
The best part is that I told Greg, I was like yesterday. So for anybody that doesn't know, we all have like a Discord. I have a Discord that's like nobody's in it except for Twitch mods and stuff. But there's the channel, and last night I was like, Greg, can you get me stats on how much people paid for all the Cool Cats? I need it for a thing. And he did it, and he produced that like awesome thing for everybody. We should pull it up. Can someone, Taylor, can you share your screen and pull up Greg's tweet? Is that something you can do? Because I want to look at this. It's hilarious. Top Shot Newbie, you can't enter that Discord. Good luck.
You can just hang if you want.
How do I know? You have to give your Top Shot name at the door. Yes, you have to give your Top Shot name and take a screenshot of your 29 out of 29 with your username.
How many are we up to right now, by the way, in there? We're like 600 something of the 2000 whatever.
Yeah, let me take a look.
We gotta keep it moving.
562 verified, and there's like 650 people in there or something. So we have well over 25% of all completers of the challenge in there.
And to be clear, it's not strictly to like, we're not sitting here trying to say, oh, we're all gonna like list at X price and like force the hand of the market. Like this is completely not what it's about. It's about just like, part commiserating and just kind of, you know, like Punch said, there's a bacon channel for salty cakes and stuff. But honestly,
and there's a place for that. Like it's okay. It's okay to be mad and like totally get it. Right. But like, there's a place for it and it should be constructive. And if you just need to get it out, like, fuck it, whatever. But like, no toxicity, whatever. But there's no way that we're going to be able to control a floor. Like there's just no way, right? Like there's no mechanic that we can put in place that like doesn't get broken immediately. So we need to just like make the established, like there needs to be value to holding this thing. And I'm super glad that Jake, I'm going to clip that and I'm going to send it out in my tweet of like, here's my 2 minute or 3 minute or 5 minute, or I don't even know how long I went. I sort of blacked out there, but like, here's why it's important to reward the people, or at least consider rewarding the people that have done this, because they're super valuable to you as a company and a product. But anyway, like that's the point. The point is that like we can make utility and value out of this. Whether or not we should have to, that's another philosophical discussion. Like totally get it. Right. We shouldn't have to take things in our own hands, whatever, but like we're going to. And big ups to Jake and AB and Chris and Chugs. Like all you guys are sort of hopping in and making this a thing and sort of like turning on the afterburners with it because it's super fun. And I saw a ton of messages in that Discord today that were like, this is the most fun that I've had since like March. And like, that's the point. Like it's supposed to be fun and it's supposed to be exciting and it's supposed to be exhilarating and like, commiserating is part of that, but like sharing something, the shared common experience matters a lot. So Taylor, the important part that I wanted to call out here is like this top line where it says amount paid by collector starts on the left. There's all these grouped things. And then there's Osimo. Carlini's over there in 10. He hopped in and tried to ape in. Osimo, obviously, like he had $200,000 worth of Lucas. He had 50 something Lucas, and he's since been like releasing them back into the wild. But Dingling, because he bought like all the number ones, is way out there. And he jumped into Discord and he was like, whoa, I didn't even know I spent that much. I was like, God damn it, dude. Like this guy is the
man. That is wild.
It was wild. It was.
I wish
wild.
I wish I misplaced spending $150,000. Like how much did I spend on that?
Yeah,
$150,000. Shit.
Yeah, pretty close to it. So
My favorite part was the vibrating, 1000%.
yeah, vibrating's high. Like
He's-
expectations low, vibrating high.
Very much.
Love that.
This
Yeah,
was
props to
perfect.
Osmo, Super Peralta. Yeah, big ups to him in general. You know, it didn't turn out, but such is life. Like everything turned south. He didn't buy at the peak either. He was buying at like the mid 3,000. So anyway, the bottleneck didn't materialize, but we're at least having a good time with it. So for anybody that isn't in the Discord, please join. We're gonna do some giveaways now though, based on that Discord. So we got some moments that we'll give away at the end here for everybody that's here in the chat. That's what Jacob's for. But we're gonna bring on our next guest, who is from Nifted Display. You might have seen them on Twitter. You might have seen, I think Roham retweeted something I tweeted today. But we're gonna bring on Kyler from Nifted Display to talk about their product and do a giveaway for the folks in the Cool Cats Discord. So without further ado, Kyler, welcome to the stream, my guy. How's it going, man?
Damn,
How we doing?
Look at that.
Look
Yeah,
at
we
that.
got-
What do you got over your shoulder there, buddy?
I had to drop.
little
I had to
thing.
drop the wall series in the background for you guys.
cool, bro.
Yeah, this is our
Nice.
27-inch wall series display. This is currently still in development, so don't get too excited. But yeah,
Sure. Is that a LeBron James from the top?
yeah. So these are all Top Shot moments, and then
Oh, so
There's
it's
some
rotating through. It looks like. Is that, this is
yeah. So
Giannis?
these aren't my actual moments. Believe it or not, I do not own all of these $100,000 moments. But yeah, we took some of the top moments on Top Shot and just kind of threw together a collection. I will say, in the future, I will not be able to do this because it's something that we pride ourselves in, making sure that you can only display your moments unless given permission by the owner. So yeah, I'm just enjoying my last few days with these top moments.
Yeah, NFT got in the chat saying those are all Dings moments. Awesome. And I just sent the Twitter, or excuse me, the link to your website as well. Is that so? Other than the website, it's Nifted _, right?
Yeah, Nifted _ is our Twitter, and same for Instagram. We do have a TikTok for any of you Gen Zers out there that like that.
I'm all
But,
over TikTok. That algorithm, man, it just serves me up the
So good.
stuff,
yeah,
the stuff that I care about.
I spend too much time on
You'll never
TikTok.
find me though.
Oh, so you've got one of those anonymous accounts, huh?
Oh yeah. Come
Okay.
on.
All right.
Come on.
Makes
We'll
sense.
find
You won't find me. Good luck. Good luck. Well, no, Taylor, you might find me. I don't know with your
Just wait for the
you
next
might go
newsletter.
Vegas Dave on my ass.
Discovering Plunge Father's hidden TikTok.
This is Plunge Father's TikTok account
Burner
based on his
TikTok.
likes. So kind of walk me through, how did you get involved? Like, is this something that was predicated on like the advent of Top Shot? Is that where the idea came from? Give us the genesis story, man.
Yeah, I think so. A couple of the co-founders were into Top Shot. I had not been into Top Shot, and this was probably early February. And you know, one of the guys just kept telling me, "Hey, dude, get in." And I'm like, you know, just a typical response for somebody who hadn't seen Top Shot yet. And then, you know, we just started thinking. He came to me, he's like, "Hey, what if we just kind of started showing this as a display? Take a look at this, you know, here's Infinity Objects. They just kind of throw together MP4s, but you know, what if we could, you know, rotate moments? What if people had the ability to rotate between platforms?" So yeah, right now we're only supporting Top Shot, but we do plan to expand into other NFT platforms. I know there's a lot of folks out there that keep asking that question, and it's something that we're working on as quickly as possible. So
Can you promise me something?
yeah,
You
let's hear it.
never, ever display a Meebit.
Okay. All right. I don't know
It'll
if I
make
can
me
make that
so
promise
happy.
for you. Hey, if people want to buy displays for Meebits, I gotta.
I know it might it might
He's a
dig into a
businessman.
significant chunk of your demographics, but holy cow, have I?
If you promise you can cover that hole,
Yeah, I
then
can't.
yeah.
I can't. I'm sorry. There's 10,000 people that have like $1 quadrillion that are. It's all fake money anyway. But come
Yeah.
on. Anyway, Comma Gang. You guys seen those?
Yeah, we have. Yep.
Oh yeah,
So,
hell yeah. Anybody, if
Um,
anybody's displaying a Comma Gang on their desk,
Their man cave.
good for you.
yeah.
I've got
Yeah,
a
we don't
question.
know. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Can you, and maybe you can or can't answer this, but can you go into any details around like the verification or how someone might connect my Top Shot account to the display, or is that something you can't quite get into quite yet?
I'll say this because I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty about it. But we do have a method in where we're syncing your Top Shot account. So, and then there's a process behind, verifying that you are the owner. And, sure enough, when these, early access displays go out, you're going to see how it works anyway. So I just don't want to, piss off my IT team
Definitely.
right now.
Just
dropping,
you're the face and the sales guy. You don't want to be the.
Yeah, because now I got to face you guys, and then I got to go face them and say, why did you tell them that? So,
Cool. That's totally fine.
So
Yeah.
Kyler, what's your background? Do you have a background in IT, or do you have a background in NFTs or crypto or anything like that? How'd you get connected with this project?
Yeah, so I went to school for mechanical engineering, believe it or not.
Where'd you go to school?
University of Wisconsin. So go Badgers.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
What's up, dude? I live in Verona. I'm just south of there.
No kidding, huh?
No
Yeah,
kidding.
I'm from
Hold
Milwaukee,
on.
so I'm from
Yeah, are you really? That's awesome, dude.
from Waukesha actually. So yeah, I'm throwing out all these Wisconsin names. Everybody's probably like, what did you just say?
Yeah, there's a good YouTube series on pronunciation of Wisconsin towns. I'm pretty good. Schwabenon's the hard one.
Oh yeah, Sheboygan. I love when
Mequon.
I love when Houston, the Texans, come to
Mhm.
Lambeau and they're all like, going around asking people how to pronounce our city name. It's great content. So
That's awesome, dude. Well, hey, if you're ever back in Madison, hit me up. We got
for
the
sure.
beer.
Yeah.
So
I'm
you
coming
went to
back.
school for you
I
coming
am
back?
coming back. I'm going to try to catch the Penn State game, season opener. Okay. So,
Okay. Do you want?
or
Hey,
I should say conference opener.
You want to place a little bet? So Notre Dame. I went to Notre Dame. Notre Dame
Okay.
plays Wisconsin at Soldier Field this year. I was
All right.
really pissed because they were supposed to play at Lambeau this past year and it got canceled for COVID. I think we should make a bet. You and me.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, we can make a bet. This will be a good one. So we have our first edition displays coming out, and this is how confident I am in the Badgers. All right, and I'm talking. I'm really biased, but Graham Mertz, he may be the best quarterback in the country. So
James Harden,
I know.
eye roll.
Uh-oh.
I know.
No.
You get the Nick Young meme. Like
No,
what?
he had a couple unreal games.
Yeah, and then he had a couple real games. So it's like,
Yeah.
it depends which Graham Mertz we get. But we have our first edition displays coming out. They're going to look really nice this summer. And then we have some first early access wall series displays coming on. So if Notre Dame beats us, I'll hook you up with the wall series. How's that?
Ooh, okay, and then I got to figure out. I got to figure out a meaningful counter to that. So
yeah, I'll let you
time.
think about that. But yeah,
because it's got to be like for like. You can't just give me
Mhm.
something if they win. I got to put something up
Yeah.
for that as well. So I'll figure something out. But
Okay,
we'll work
deal.
on that. And
Deal.
we'll bring you back on later on down the line when that game's around, and we'll see where you're at. 4 months from now. Hopefully, it's in a good spot for sure.
Yeah,
So
I'm really hoping.
So you mentioned kind of a couple different products, and sort of the things behind us, like that's the wall display. But kind of walk us through like what you guys are offering, where you're at in the development cycle, and so forth.
Yeah. So as you know, we're doing our early access display pre-order tomorrow. So that's kind of our kickoff product. We're really using this time to test, be ground level, hear what the community has to say about our displays before we kind of finalize our designs for the first edition display. This wall series right here is probably one of my favorite things that we're going to be working on the rest of the year. It's just, I mean, you can see it. It's you got, I got buddies who walk into the house and they're like, "What is that?" And that right there.
Why are you playing a basketball GIF that you can find on YouTube?
And why is there a price tag for $150,000 for that? I'm like, hey man,
funny you should ask.
Yeah, so we have our wall series coming out. I mean, there's a ton of different avenues we want to explore too, along with, there's Zed-Run integration that we're kind of working on. There's, where other platforms we want to work on the rest of this year. So, I guess, like you said, we'll see where we're at in 4 months. I mean, the more traction we get, the more support behind us, it's going to come a lot quicker. And just hoping for big things in 2021 for these displays.
So you mentioned the drop or like the pre-order thing tomorrow. How can people get involved? I've been like spamming the chat with your link, but what can people do to pre-order or get in line to get these things in desk
sure.
or on their office.
Yeah, and I'll preface with this. These are limited order, okay? I'm not going to say how many are available. I don't want to discourage anybody or encourage someone to buy multiple, so we won't, disclose that information.
Don't buy multiple, guys.
This is our kind of our testing period, right? Not only for the display itself, but for the software. If you come to the site at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, it's first come, first serve. I don't know how long they're going to last for. So if you really do want an early access display, hop on a little bit before then. And if you don't get one, don't worry. Those first edition displays, they're coming out soon. And we do have a little gift for those who do purchase the early access display. So we know that the price point, probably is a little high for an early access display. But that's why we're coming out with a little gift, and we want to just continue to thank everyone for their support. It means a lot, and it helps us more than our supporters know, because we're able to do a lot of different testing. Seeing how the servers handle multiple people with multiple displays, and so on.
So a couple questions from the chat. First off, Chargy D checking in from the emergency department. This is my best friend. He was the best man at my wedding. I was the best man at his wedding. My son's middle name is his name. His baby's on the way. So congrats to you, Chargy. With that, hopefully mama's in good shape and everybody's safe. But in terms of payment, how are for the drop tomorrow? Is it a credit card situation and people pay with crypto?
Yeah, it'll be through credit card. And I'll say this: we are only selling early access displays in North America tomorrow. So international will come. So those of you who are following that, kind of bummed about it, that's coming. But just for the purposes of this display, we're going to do North America. But yeah, it is going to be credit card. It'll take you through purchasing through the site and so on.
Cool, man.
I had a
that's
question.
Awesome. Go ahead, Tim.
My background's actually in mechanical engineering as well. It's a good choice.
Okay, you're a mechie, all right.
Mechie that, now writes code all day on computers. So take that as you will. But my question, can you talk about what you've gotten to work on from a mechie perspective on it? Like, have you been able to actually design some of the fabrication or anything like that you can share?
Yeah. So this is the wall. It's probably hard to see in this lighting. This is kind of our prototype. It's all been stuff that I learned in school for mechanical engineering, right? I'm on Inventor, SolidWorks. I've got, 3D printers. We're doing different types of stress testing, and there's a lot of electronics involved as well. Things that I personally did not like all that much in school, so I kind of had to relearn a few things. For example, is the most pain in the ass thing on this planet. So yeah, it's once I left mechanical engineering, for the software space, for this space, I didn't think that I'd ever be using those skills again. And here we are today, making a physical product that required some sort of engineering behind it.
Cool.
You want to know something funny? I actually know AutoCAD, but the only reason that I know AutoCAD is because I took a theatrical design class and I had to learn how to do set development and lighting display. So I had to learn AutoCAD for that.
Plunge,
just in case you're wondering.
So I worked at Autodesk for 5 years. And if you go on YouTube and search my name, you'll see tutorials I made teaching people how to make 3D models. That's my fun fact.
I've been looking at, I have been, trying to refresh my memory a little bit. So I have been watching tutorials. So, go
rewatch them. You'll probably be like, wait, I know who that is.
I've seen that guy before.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Past life.
Cool, man. Well, hey, Kyler, thank you so much for coming on. And like I said, I've been spamming the chat, niftedisplays.com. Follow him and the team at nifted_ on Twitter. Give him a follow because this is cool stuff. But so I reached out to you because I was like, hey, we should do this. And we've got the Cool Cats Master Challenge, folks. There's 500 and something of us that are like, we're all in on LaMelo. Like, we're gonna just people want to hold this. It is meaningful to us. Cherish the dirt is a really important. Regardless of what else the low ask on the marketplace, I think a lot of us are gonna look at this particular moment as something that's sentimental, not just valuable. From a monetary perspective. So you said that you'd be willing to give away one of those to our members. So is it the wall display? Is it the personal one?
We're going to do a desk series early
Okay.
access display. And so just a little background on this. It's you got a cord, you plug it in, works the same way as a wall series, the exact same styling, except it's just a 5x7 display for your desk. Yeah.
Look at
Show it off
that
like
wheel.
Go ahead, Jugs.
I was just gonna say, look at that wheel. That's all I said. That's all.
There's a lot of people in that wheel.
Cats.
All right, so it's going to be bad because I have awful internet, but I'm going to roll it right now, and we're going to take it. Whoever lands on this is the Discord person that's going to walk away with that desk series.
This is ability at work right here, guys.
Jackie Legs 110. Jackie Legs 110.
What a
I'll
name.
post it in the Discord. Jackie Legs, congratulations! You're the proud owner or the proud new owner of one of those. So we'll keep in touch, Kyler, and like as these things come out and you get to the fulfillment point, we'll get Jackie Legs 110 in
Perfect.
connection with you. Anything else that you want to plug? Anything else that you want to talk through? I know that you hopped in at the end of Jacob's chat, but are you a collector as well? Like, do you have any thoughts on what Jacob was saying and sort of what he was talking through?
Yeah, I know the guys are gonna give me some crap about this one, but I am a collector. I have this irrational belief that Russell Westbrook is the best point guard in the league. I don't know. Shoot me.
I don't
Just
think
love
that's
him.
irrational.
I mean,
It's justifiable.
can he
Steph Curry's
win?
still around.
Yeah,
That's
Steph
true.
Curry.
Steph Curry.
You
Do you
got
consider him a point
Kyrie.
guard though?
Appreciate
I
it.
guess he's a point guard.
Yeah, but yeah, most of my moments consist of Russell Westbrook's, and they have gone down considerably. But like you were
They've
just
all
saying,
gone
like
down, dude.
a lot. They're more like you were just saying. They're sentimental to me. I know I've got this up right now, but when I don't have this up, I have Russell Westbrook right there. I think bringing displays. And just in general, because we don't want to just be a display company. We want to be an interactive company, something where, we're constantly evolving, right? I mean, we've already started thinking about 3, 4, 5 years down the line where, there's VR involved, there's holographs, there's a lot of different things you can do with NFTs. And that's what we want to primarily focus on. So,
VR and Comma Gang, dude.
Yeah.
It's next level.
All right. Yeah.
That's where it's at. Just
if any
interact
of
with
the-
your me bits and your blobs.
That's all it is.
And interact with your ghosts. They'll haunt your dreams in VR. No, but
Yeah.
I can appreciate that though. Like thinking it's not just like, hey, here's a static display, but thinking about how this plays out longer term.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you hopping in. I know that we're gonna lose here Chugs and Taylor. We got some other folks coming in here. But Kyler, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations to our winner, Jackie Legs 110. We'll connect in Discord and go from there. But we're going to cut that and kind of shift gears a little bit. But you're always welcome back. If there's stuff that you need to promote, hit me up. I'm more than happy to shill the bags for stuff that we care about and people that are doing good stuff in the community. So,
well, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kyler.
Yep.
Yeah,
Talk soon.
Good luck
All right, man.
tomorrow.
All right, cool. All right, Chugs, Taylor, you got to run, huh?
Yeah, I'm out. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's time.
hang with some peeps.
You got things to do, people to see.
So,
That's cool, though. That's cool. You're just gonna leave me hanging. All right, I'll carry the show. You guys, no worries.
I have
No, I'll carry
full faith. Full
Here we
faith
go.
you guys.
it.
This is
Don't
really
worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right.
All right.
We'll see you later, buddy. Talk
See you
soon.
next time. Take
All right. It's just me now. Is this what people do? Like they do like, hey, we're just gonna talk on our own and all that fun stuff. Before we bring on our next guest, I think people need to get a little hype. We need to get a little hype in the Can we play it? Can we play the song? Can we play it? Do you care? I don't care. I don't care. I have no sympathy. Don't care. I don't. All right. So before we bring in our next guest, Gem 10 Wax and Backer Party from the Cool Cats Discord, I wanted to open it up for a couple minutes and answer questions that people might have from the chat. The folks that have been here or haven't been here didn't see the first part of the Jacob chat. I thought it was really strong. And I think it's important to recognize that like he's a human and we're all humans, and it can get really testy when you're talking about cash and, you know, valuations and money, right? Like it's inherently challenging. That's like, it's the thing that destroys the vast majority of relationships that end in divorce. Like money is a big problem and people have issues with it. So I thought he did a fantastic job. I love Jacob. And I think like there are things that I take umbrage with in general with Dapper and Top Shot and the way that they approach things, but it's less about a personal thing and more about a philosophical, like organizational thing. And I hope that came across. So in your interactions, just be kind to people. I think it's really important, and people will remember that. So what questions do you folks have? Anything that we didn't cover, anything you want my opinion on before we dive into with the final giveaways that we have for that LaMelo Panini Prism that Gem 10 Wax is bringing on, and the final LaMelo Top Shot Mommy. Anthony Andarelli saying, missed the interview. Will bigger marketing effort come during playoffs? So yeah, one of the things that Jacob said, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, was basically like they were trying out a couple things, and it sounded like they were working down the backlog of people that had kind of already contacted and worked with them. So it was sort of like a test balloon, or a trial balloon, if you will. I think they recognize as well. He sort of talked about, and he didn't use the term failure, but there were things that they needed to work on with that. But they're looking at a variety of different ways as well. So we didn't get too far into it. Fun balloons. Why did I pick Blackberry Brandy last week? I just did. I'm sorry. It's a Wisconsin thing. They didn't say, do you think everyone who joined before May 22nd will give it a gift of some sort? I do. I think it's meaningful that that like baller status thing of like early adopters, there's going to be some airdrop situation in some way, shape, or form. Did I miss next legendary pack? Sorry, Chef Lizette. Next legendary pack, what he confirmed was their intention is to bring it up next week, so sometime after Memorial Day weekend. It is contingent upon them being able to display your collector score on the site, which is actually like really rational, right? Like they want to make sure that there's a feature in play because they're not going to take a snapshot of what your status is at a given time. They are going to announce what the criteria are going to be for that account or for that drop, and allow people to complete it in whatever time. So let's say that let's say they make it a 2,500 collector score and you're at 2,000. Like you will have time between when they announce that and when you need to complete that. Is Greg not allowed camera privileges this week? Yes, he's in Guantanamo. He is serving time for his transgressions. I can't say any more than that. Do you think Jacob makes an effort to reward master collectors after specifically asking you? Good question. I don't think he would have asked the question if he didn't mean to like actually get our valid opinions on it. Like I said, I sort of blacked out there. I went on a little 3-minute tirade. Not tirade. I think it was very measured. But I think they if nothing else from that interview, I took away they listen, and whether or not they can actually execute on your input is another thing entirely, or whether that they take that into account in determining the path forward. But like they listen, they care, they are aware, and that's like a really important element. So I'm hopeful that, you know, whether or not my voice matters more than others, like he was here, we had a conversation, I said my piece. I don't want to speak on behalf of everybody that is doing that. That was just my opinion, but I'm curious. And when I bring on background Gem 10, or Gem 10 Wax, like I'm curious their thoughts on that as well, because I think they sat through it and whether or not they agree. Yeah, I don't care. Literally, I don't care what what the bottom price is. Like there are tons of people that own non-29. The people that are selling are not the people that have 29 of them. The people that are selling are the people that have fewer than 29 of them and that are trying to like make sure that they don't lose all of their value. So I don't even fucking care. So I don't know, 1,000, something lower than that. Boy, I agree. Top Shot is very bright after hearing what Jacob had to say. It is incredibly difficult to take massive loss like on paper and turn around and feel confident in a product. The people that have taken massive loss are very, very small. And I don't want to disparage or diminish how important those people are, but like the number of people that have taken significant financial impact are really small compared to the overall user base. There are something like, I don't know, however many, 2,100 Cool Cats people that have finished. The median price or whatever of completion was somewhere around like 2,500 or $3,000. Yeah. And we're going to take a bath on some of it, but like, let's say that you lose half or 60%, right? There are less than 100 people that lost 10,000 or five figures. Those 100 people are super important and their situation is shitty. And like, there are plenty of other people that have lost 5 figures plus on the drop down and their situation is shitty. Their situation is unique and not unique individually, but like it is a very small subset. It is a very important subset, but it is a very small subset. What's a massive loss? Nobody knows. Anyway. All right. So thank you for all the questions. Really appreciate everybody sticking around. We're going to bring on the other 2 of the 4 cat masters from the Cool Cats Discord. They've been waiting in the wings for a really long time. So without further ado, Gem 10 Wax and Packer Party, welcome to the Plungeon. How are you guys doing?
What's up, man? Doing well. How are you?
I'm good, dude.
2 hours deep, man. This is nuts.
This is good. We still got bodies in the chat, man. Gem 10, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Been on my feet, listening, getting excited, and yeah, man, things are going really well.
Cool. So for anybody that doesn't know, these are the other 2. There's 4 of us that are sort of running the Cool Cats Discord. Running is I don't know. That's a strong word. We're doing
containing the mayhem. I think.
I think the mayhem is being relatively contained. I went a little ham on the emojis. I'm not gonna lie. Like the channel's got a little out of control there for a minute. But like
we got trolls like Lil Newbie and Jennifer and Caruso in general just wreaking havoc.
Bro,
wreaking havoc.
I have to say though, I put on my armor and I went into battle into the main general Discord for months. Defending the vision and the excitement that I had, not because I had some vested interest. People always calling me Roham and this and that, but I love where Top Shot is going, and I got in there on my own will, and I have some battle scars. So I just have to say that it's really nice to get into a Discord where the mood is overall pleasant.
It is pleasant, although like of the bag holders. Like this group of people, probably deservedly so, is probably the like heaviest bag holders in a lot of ways, right? Because there's so much scar tissue from all of this. But it's very curious to see. And there's lots of different people from different swaths across the board in there. But it's so funny. Like everybody comes in, and the first thing that they say, like categorically, is, "Hey, is this the support group?"
Yeah.
And everybody's still holding on, like.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And
it's
everybody
crazy.
can commiserate. And I'll reiterate. And I this is not targeted at any specific individual. There's been a lot of chatter about, hey, I had my account value was X and now it's Y, whatever those things are. And I cannot. This is not financial advice. Like never has been, never will be. Unrealized gains are unrealized gains. Your
Absolutely.
money on paper doesn't mean shit. Like, and as much as it was cool to like, and I did it too. Like talking to your wife or your significant other or your partner or your family or your friends and saying, this is life-changing money. I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to buy you the car. I'm going to do whatever. Like those conversations happen. I had them. I sat down with my wife in our guest bedroom before I went on a trip, like in April. And I was like, I'm legitimately thinking about quitting my job because I think I can make it. I think this is the future. and like I think I could make a living doing this. It not just predicated on like my market success of my particular account, but like there's going to be a sustainable content stream of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I had that conversation, and it's frustrating to be at a point now where it's like there's no fucking way, right?
Yeah.
But that's okay. It was unrealized, and I'm glad that I didn't do that, because I would have felt really awful. And I know that a lot of people have taken like leaps of faith into that, but I think it's important to recognize that like unrealized gains are just that, unrealized.
Absolutely.
And it's frustrating, and it's sad, and in many cases, like you make plans with money that you don't have, or whatever those things are. But I think it's really important for everybody to keep in context, like you should not be putting rent money into this. You should not again, not financial advice. I would not be putting rent money in this. I would not be putting money that I need to feed my family into this. I would not be putting credit card like bills into this. I would not be buying just like it with the assumption that I saw someone saying like, oh, I'm going to take out a HELOC and put it into this thing. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's
please
nuts.
don't do that.
That's nuts.
Like don't escrow your house into this. Like please don't.
I mean, although I do want to
man.
say like when the bull run happened in February, right? Like February 21st to the 23rd, or those few days, the people that did like ape in, so to say, I mean, you got to have a little bit of respect for them, because to have the conviction to see that and be like, I want to capitalize on it, that's not an easy thing to do. Like, I know I have to think, I'm thinking twice before I see like, oh, like this moment's drop below $100. I want to buy, like, I got to think twice about it, like wait a little bit, really like do my research and stuff like that. People saw these moments go up and they're like, this is something that I believe in. I'm going to make that decision. I'm going all in. I think there's a certain level of respect that you have to give to those people, because it's not easy to have conviction in something that's so new and so fresh.
Right. And I agree with the conviction element of it. Like there's some respect there. I think what like rational,
like
rationality here. Don't live
beyond
your means. Don't put more on the table than you can afford.
Absolutely.
And do your own research. And not to say that there was any research that was suggesting that anything was going down at any point, but like if your friends say, hey, I made 5X, come in, which is how a lot of us got in here. Let's be frank. Like, excuse me. Like, hey, this is free money, hand over fist. Okay, like that's all well and good. Throw your Venmo cash into there. But if you're spending your mortgage on this shit, like think twice.
Yeah,
and
100%.
by nature, and I will get to you in a second, Jem, but like by nature, the volatility that we are experiencing is part of the reason that it blew up when it did. Is like that volatility on the way up was why we exploded user base wise. Like,
Absolutely.
And the volatility on the way down sucks, but like that's part of the product. Anyway, yeah. So talk to me, Jem.
No, I mean, it's an interesting conversation, because when I think back about my journey and how I was introduced to Top Shot, I mean, my boy that I mentioned to you guys earlier today, who's heavily involved in the crypto market, and he's a pretty big, Top Shot user, got in pretty early. He didn't want to tell me about it, right? Because he came from crypto. He knows the volatility. And so I feel like it's a really interesting dynamic, because when you get into some of the discords and you start looking at the people that are posting and talking about losses and why they're not doing things a certain way, Top Shot, you would think that they would have more experience coming from the crypto market and knowing the volatility. So it leads me to believe like one of two things: either A, there are whales creating fake user accounts within the Discord, trying to, influence the market so that they can, I'm not saying for anybody that's in our community, but there could be people that are trying to influence the market in a negative way for their own gain. Or two, it's like, don't put money on mommy's credit card to go buy moments. When she comes looking for, payment on that bill, like you're in trouble. So to me, it's just, I had a different experience. I mean, my buddy told me up front, like, look, I didn't really want to tell you about this, but then when I looked at his LeBron, and then I started diving into Top Shot, like I got really excited personally. So I think that's a super important lesson for people as you're talking to, your friends and things. It's like don't talk about the potential. Talk about what Top Shot truly is, which is collecting super dope, officially like NBA NFTs, right?
Right. I think so. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like it's fun. Like the financial aspect of it is fun. It's cool. But
Absolutely.
the community shit is probably like the next level stuff, which I'm happy to have you guys on. So I do need to run here in like 15 minutes. So I think we should finish off with like the next 5 or 10 minutes. Like let's go through some giveaways. So Gem 10, you're a big cardboard guy, right? You've got cards out the yazoo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
What does your collection look like?
It's massive. And in fact, my wife she's been wanting me to do this consolidation effort for like the last 6 months, because it grew from me digging out cards from my collection that were in the garage that she tried to get me to throw away that I never did, to me hitting up other people and being like, hey, there's this garage find. I know that we can make money. I'll do all the physical labor, to myself finding deals. So then it just amassed into like, I'm putting cards up above the fireplace. I'm putting cards in the kitchen. I'm putting cards like on the dining room table. Like it got to be crazy. So I've kind of consolidated it down. But yeah, I mean, it's something that I did when I was growing up. And I think of that when I'm doing Top Shot, because it was truly about collecting the cards and sharing the entertainment aspect and that value with your friends growing up. Even though I love to see, my Michael Jordan go from $4 to $4.50, right, in the next edition of the Beckett. Truly, the main joy for me was just collecting, and so it was cool to see the market come back. But yeah, we've got this gem intent.
So for those of it, like I have this is my foray. I've got a James Wiseman on card autograph Panini Origins. My only other foray into Panini cards was a break on the Break Boys stream, in which I got all of this stuff, including Hornets. I got the Hornets. It was like a team break, so it was a 1 of 10, and I got the Hornets, the Nets, and whoever the fuck else I got, Miami. And I ended up with like fucking jack shit. I spent $210 and didn't get anything. But walk people through for anybody that's not. What's up?
You have to get them graded for them to be worth any money. You know that, right?
Well, yeah, but none of mine are worth grading, other than this one maybe. But like, even so, like none of the like this the coolest one that they actually put in a sleeve is worth like $6 on eBay. Like it's not worth sending in. But anyway, the point being, there may be people in here. We can't assume that everybody understands what Gem Mint 10 means. Can you walk through like grading process, what that means, and what it means to have like this particular LaMelo that's like officially graded?
Yeah. So first of all, I'll start with the last 4 months. PSA sent out about 4 months ago. PSA sent out an announcement to all of the members saying, we are not accepting any more submissions. So for the last 4 months, people have literally not been able to send in their cards to PSA to get graded because of the massive influx of cards that they've been receiving over the past year with the recent boom in collectibles and whatnot. So I'll lead with that to say that there's a lot of work and there's a huge push to send in cards, obviously. But what people don't realize is that the grades are subjective, right? So, I've sent in batches of cards where I thought they were all going to be 10s and not a single one was. And I've sent in batches of cards where I'm like, these are all 9s and they all come back 10s. So it's very subjective. There's a lot of work that goes into self-grading. And to get a 10 is hard. I mean, this LaMelo, I think last time I checked, it's like there's 270 graded 10s of this LaMelo in PSA, and PSA is the gold standard of sports card grading. So there you go.
So with that, there's only 210. So this is more rare than a run it back.
Yeah.
So this particular card, at least in terms of the iteration of it, that's awesome, dude. And you're willing to give it away to the Cool Cats community.
Exclusive
No, I mean,
giveaway.
it's noted, right, that there's a lot more of this card, the exact same. There's no serial number on it or anything like that. But what makes it 1 out of 270
is that there's 10. It's perfect.
It's PSA 10, right?
It's perfect. It's
Right.
It's beautiful.
Oh, dude, you don't know the hours I spent.
So that's my next question is like, how many? I know you probably have thousands, tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of cards, but like, how many Gem Mint 10s do you have?
Right
That are
now,
graded.
I'm sitting on 11 Gem Mint 10s.
And you're going to give one of those 11 away?
And I'm giving one of them away. Yep.
Shit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope. That's dope. Well, let's run it. Hold on. Let me hop into the screen here. We got that wheel of names. This giveaway in particular is going to be for our Cool Cats folks. I think back row, we're going to give away a Top Shot LaMelo Momi to the overall, the folks that are here in Twitch to sort of run us out. But let me share my screen here and we will run this. So again, this is the folks that have verified that they have 29 out of 29 Cool Cats in the Discord. This is everybody. So we're going to run it again. Hopefully it doesn't error out on me. Okay. I think it's spinning. I'm super laggy.
That's a shit ton of names.
Cookie Carpy. Dope. So Cookie Carpy, we'll hit you up. So I will say Gem 10 did mention if you're in the United States, he'll cover shipping. If you're international, if you can cover shipping, that would be great so that we don't have to worry about the expense there. It is relatively expensive to do so. So if you're in the US, great. If not, Cookie Carpy, we'll hit you up in the Discord and make sure that we can get you connected with that. And for anybody else that's in that Discord, there is a Cardboard Crack channel. We'll probably do some Cardboard Crack stuff soon. I'm looking at angling towards getting a collector box or a hobby box or something and running a group crack as a unit. There's lots of stuff that I've picked up over the last 4 months from a variety of different Twitch streams and so forth that like, why don't we just do it with 500 people instead of like a mass? It's just more fun with a smaller group. So Gem, thanks so much for being willing to do that.
Yeah.
But Backer, like what's, oh, hold on. You're here. I didn't mean to kick you out. My bad. That was not my intention.
I want to go watch the Blazer game anyway. Okay.
All right. Well, hey, we'll talk to you later, man.
Thanks so much.
Later, dude.
Have a good one, man. So Backer, man. So I'm Gem 10's. He's a 10. I love that.
100% he's a 10. 100% he's a 10. He's wicked. So right after, like I told you, right after we created the Discord, he just went off on people like in the general chat that they were just like, oh, I want to get in, and just people were just like talking shit and stuff like that. And he was like active for like 3-4 straight hours. Then I messaged him on the side and I was like, hey bro, if you got time to like watch over this stuff, can you be an admin or something? And he's like, I would love that. Thank you so much. Whatever. And I was like, yes, please. Like we need all the help we can get. But wicked dude.
Love that, man. So we're going to close out here and we're coming up on 2.5 hours. So I do want to end soonish, but you got like a final Top Shot moment for us to give away. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a 40K,
Okay.
but we're going to stick with the LaMelo theme. So I think it's his first bucket, right? So it's his first ever points in the league.
Okay.
And it's not the greatest serial, but it's a long-term hold. So whoever wins this, you got to promise us that you're going to hold on to it as long as possible. You got to confirm that you're on Team No List.
Team No List. I'm with that. So in order to be eligible, so we've still got just around 200 people in the Twitch. So it's going to be picked from one of you all. What I need you to do is I need you to go ahead and the keyword is going to be mellow, MELO, mellow. We'll give everybody, we'll give everybody the time to listen to the intro again. And once that ends, we'll roll it and we'll go from there. So get that MELO and we will end there.
Dope.
care. I don't care. I have no sympathy. Don't care. I don't. Don't care. I just don't care. I'm sorry. That was a lot of mellows. All right, here we go. Let's roll it. Easy Name X has won the giveaway. Easy Name X. Hit us with your Top Shot username, Easy Name X.
Slide in Plunge's DMs.
Yeah, hit me up. No way. They say. No way, they say. Hit us with that Top Shot username. Easy name. There it is. I'll send it to you maybe in the private chat.
Dope.
Oh, I'm curious. So sort of closing up, did you listen to the first part of the show?
Yeah, I actually had time to catch the entire thing. So I was around for all of it. I think it was one of the better episodes that there's been of your stream. I think Jacob was very, very honest with what he said. And I think one of the things that really, really showcased that was at the end when he said, I want to flip it on you guys and I want to ask you guys a question. And that to me, I think like I'll reiterate what you said earlier is they listen and like they get shit on a lot. And I think as collectors, as users of Top Shot, we see things from our lens only. Whereas for them, in order for them to create a sustainable product, they have to look at it from multiple lenses. So they got to look at things from the user side, whether it's through focus groups or polls and stuff like that. But they also have to have their business's best interest in mind as well. So it's a fine line that they have to walk. I think Jacob answered some tough questions. And I think, like you said, you always feel a little bit better after you get some information out of them. But they don't hide, right? That's the biggest takeaway is they don't hide. They're very transparent. They might not always be able to share everything that we want to hear. But they definitely are not, they're not hiding from anyone. They're always there to answer our questions, which, I mean, you can't really ask for much more than that.
I completely agree. And, at the end of the day, he's doing his job.
100%. 100%. Yeah. And like you said, he's the face of it, right? Like you said, you made that analogy and it sucks for him. And you know what's funny? Actually, you said Jake the Snake is the word for the thing. Yeah. The entire time I was watching, I'm verifying people in the Discord. And so there's people coming in. The exact same time that you said Jake the Snake, a guy named Jake the Snake joined the Discord and I like approved it. And I'm like looking back and forth and I got so tripped out. I was like, are you watching the thing or not? Like what's going on? But yeah, no, it's wicked. No, we're I think like everybody on behalf of like the Discord, we're so grateful to have you involved in Chugs and Gem 10. So it's a wicked community. And I think that's the key, right? That's a priority. Keep it as a community. Whether we benefit from it monetarily as a group, I don't think that's really the priority here. It's to kind of create utility, chat, and like everybody's saying, it's the most fun that we've had. I haven't even hit the Top Shot Discord in I think a couple months.
Yeah, me either.
And like I've been on Discord all day for the past couple days. So this is wicked.
Yeah, it's been super fun. And so like the nifted display thing and the PSA 10 thing, like that's. I don't want to promise stuff, but like that's going to be maybe not the norm, but like we're going to do stuff like that.
And we've had those discussions already, right? Like it might not be a giveaway every time, but there's always going to be some kind of benefit.
We're going to do stuff. And and I know I'm fully aware that like I'm in all of them. Like everybody's got Discords that they're in.
Yeah.
And, like, some of them have great stuff. Some of them a lot of them are schizophrenic and some of them are not. Like, and that's okay.
We discovered one today that wasn't so well.
Oh my God. Dude, for everybody else that's out there that's wondering and doesn't want to dive in, we all hopped in. So we found out early on, like the LaMelo Ball, like we saw the NFT announcement and we all read the thing and we hopped in immediately into the LaMelo Ball Discord. It's a dumpster fire. It's an absolute dumpster fire. And we're probably just going to like ape in and take it over. Like that's probably what's going to happen is that we're just going to like make it the Cool Cats LaMelo Challenge Master, like Discord 2.0. Like, and
Like
sorry
a
for anybody.
branch.
Yeah, we're just gonna
branch
be like, hey, this is ours. Because we can do that because we have 600 people now, and we just be like, hey, all these people actually know what they're talking about, and we're just going to take this over. But we're in contact with those folks in general. But yeah, it's a dumpster fire. But anyway, long story short, things are good. I've had a lot of fun the last couple of days. Thank you everybody for chiming in and tuning in. We're gonna end the stream tonight, but I'm happy. I'm having a good time. Top Shot's supposed to be fun, and I'm having fun. So, Backer, super good talking to you.
I'm going to give one shout out. Shout out to the TO boys that are watching right now. Huge supporters of the stream and true collectors.
Awesome. Well, hey, we're going to end it there. We'll leave everybody with one more outro, and have a good rest of your night. Tune into Jacob tomorrow on the stream. He's got Rasheed Wallace and Rip Hamilton, I think, talking Top Shot. Yeah. So head over there, and we will talk soon. All right, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. I don't care. I don't care. No sympathy. Don't care. I don't care. I just don't care. I'm sorry.